What's good, people? It's the Rap Roundtable here. Your boy Jarv, Sincere the Rap Snob, Diddy the Balance, the homie Mase. We just need y'all to like, share, and subscribe when you tap into the videos. We're trying to reach 10K subs, and with your help, we can definitely do that. Especially people who watch the videos and don't sub. You watching, we appreciate it, but the subs help us run it up even more. For our people who are already sub, make sure you hit that bell right next to the subscribe option. Pick all. When you pick all, it allows us to feed you what you need to get from us immediately. If you don't hit all, you'll get it when YouTube decides to give it to you. But if you hit all, you get the streams, you get the community posts, you get our regular uploads, you get everything. Hit all, help us run these numbers up, 10K, build a Rap Roundtable brand. Tap in with us. Peace.
The Rap Roundtable.
Yes, sir. The first in-studio roundtable of 2023 is upon us. I know some of you are disappointed because you only see 3 of us, but bear with us. There's no breakups, there's no pod beef, none of that. I see there's a guy on YouTube who has like a whole pod beef station getting a lot of clicks talking about pod drama, but have no fear, the Rap Roundtable is still a quartet. Is that the phrase? Quartet. A quartet?
Yes.
Deanie's under the weather, so he's not with us tonight. Deanie, we miss you, bro. We miss the energy.
Hell yeah, man.
We're gonna miss the misogyny and the questionable statements that might get us demonetized.
Nah, we have one segment that I was like, damn, Deanie's gonna miss this because he's a big fan of one of the people.
Oh, damn it, man. Deanie, get well soon.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully you're medicating properly, and for 63, you better be back in the studio. It ain't right without. Is this the first episode Deanie's ever missed? In here?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this the first one.
Mace has definitely never said right next to me.
Right.
It's the first one.
I don't
that's
think
the one.
He's missed some like the streaming joints like Zooms.
But
he's never missed an in-studio session.
He's never missed an in-studio, man. He must be down bad.
It's like
some Cal Ripken shit, like the streak is over.
It's over. Shout out to Dean, man. We love you.
Shout out to Deanie, the
Shout
balance
out to
himself.
The homie Deanie, the balance.
Yes.
Mr. Misogyny himself.
Yeah, we need the problematic takes back.
Oh yeah, the most problematic podcast in the game right now. You know what I mean?
He gonna double up on us on 63.
Yeah.
He is.
But as always, this is New York's #1 underground/overground hip hop podcast in the game. We are the Rap Roundtable.
Yes, sir.
Episode 62. It's your boy Jarv here alongside Sincere the Rap Snob.
What up?
Alongside the homie Mase. Once again, shout out to Deanie the Balance. We got Walter with us in the tuck. You can find the Rap Roundtable, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Twitter, we see you. Y'all showing us a lot of love. We're gonna keep providing the tweets for y'all to argue about. Any love you show us, we love to see it. The beat you hear in the background is produced by Sincere the Rap Snob. He makes beats.
Holla at me.
You already know the vibes.
My guy.
And as always,
we are tonight's entertainment.
All right, fellas, let's get right into it. I saw something real interesting on Twitter, right? You know, we love to talk a little bit about Nas and Hove, and a lot of the infrastructure of the Rap Roundtable is based around that debate. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
But for a change, it's not Jarv saying something.
It isn't?
It's not Mase. It's definitely not Sin. It's not Walter. It's not Deanie. It's not Judas. It's not anybody somehow affiliated with the Rap Roundtable. It's a tweet from a person that a lot of y'all who are heavy on Twitter are familiar with. His tweets, for better or worse, go up. His name is Music and Builds, a.k.a. Master Student. He's even had static with some people who've been on this show, huh?
Yeah.
So he says, Nas, my favorite rapper ever, but he lost the war with Hove because Hove got better taste in women. Nas rapped about the black girl loss, but that was always his type. Hove bagged Beyonce and elevated on niggas, cleaned up his image, and she helped him get into those offices. Now, we have this dude named Khalil who, it got a little spicy with Khalil and I on Twitter. Like, our first interaction was it went left.
Recently?
Okay?
Or this was
a few months ago.
Sometimes, Jarv can get under folks' skin.
Yeah.
It happens every now and then.
He said,
you think?
well,
That's what I've heard.
what had happened was, when you text, sometimes things get misconstrued, and we both felt like the other was disrespecting each other. Okay,
Right.
It went left. Then we started DMing each other, and we realized it really wasn't what we thought it was. We shook hands. We followed each other. Khalil
I do remember that now. Yeah,
Right.
okay. Yeah,
Shout
yeah.
to Khalil.
Khalil might end up on the Rap Roundtable one day. He's
right.
from Queens, but then
Always welcome.
Yes, sir.
again, because we're a podcast with the people, just so you know. He says, you would think Nas would have ended up like Hove. Nas' light don't add up to his lyrics. I've always said this. Hold on, Sid. Wait, it gets better.
Yeah, we having an early lawn segment today,
Master
bro.
student responds, quote tweets Khalil and says, word, he never really put people on like that either. Not to the level Hove did. Khalil follows up and says, word up, exclamation point. Damn, that's a good catch. That's where it stops with the exchange for the two of them. So I saw this on Twitter and I was like, oh, wow. This is crazy. This is salacious.
You would love this.
On my best day, I don't think I've even went that far,
Not even hit
I've said some shit.
Nah,
prime
maybe
Nas
off
slander
wax.
jaw.
Off wax?
Off wax.
Maybe off wax.
Maybe like
Yeah.
09 jaw was
09, yeah, 08, 09.
Hell yeah.
Anywhere
That
between
season
02
job.
and 09, I said some shit.
Hey, man.
But a lot of that was, just to upset niggas. Not like these niggas really mean that shit.
They do.
Anytime I've said anything,
Come on. Let's keep it a whole buck.
I try to piss niggas off.
There's
I don't understand.
there's not a part of you that really feels that type of way?
As far as what?
As far as like, what they're saying.
We can get into that.
Okay.
But I know you got a lot to say. So,
Yeah, let's hear it.
let's hear the rap snob,
The floor is
I'm
yours,
slander
brother.
here for Nas.
Yeah, no. This might be an early lawn segment. 'Cause
Okay, have a blast.
These two, is it two? It was 3 in total?
4 tweets.
4? No. I'm saying like the people involved.
2 people.
Two people.
Khalil
They-
and Master Student.
Sid
Real
about to
Master
put
student.
cases on them niggas. I
Both gotta
a
get
feeling.
off my lawn. I'm gonna find y'all on
You
Twitter,
gotta find a
man.
weed killer?
Yo, I'm gonna find you, and
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, this is what we're not finna do at all.
You should do it.
No, we're not doing this. You can't. Here's the thing that I've noticed is that every time, and this is where I sort of agree with the the heavier handed Nasarians and Escobarians.
Okay.
This is where I will kind of like agree with them, even though they go a little overboard with it. But I do find it interesting that when Nas is getting his light and getting his shine and getting his flowers, with as he should with the run that he's on right now with Hit Boy, the conversation starts skewing to other criteria that's outside of the music. We're talking about the music here, right? If we're gonna have a conversation about Nas versus Jay-Z like we've been having for the past 20 plus years,
Spy versus Spy.
Let's absolutely keep it to the music, please, right? All this other stuff about who he married, how many billions of dollars he has, how he's a business man. He's not a businessman, he's a businessman. Like, that was a dope line, but I feel like the Hovengers take that line and just run with it and take it too far. Because at the end of the day, when we're talking about rap, when we're talking about hip hop, we're talking about the music. If you want to talk about success in life, we can have that conversation, but like, you can't judge who won in a battle or in a war musically by how successful they are in life. Because if we're gonna talk about that, let's look at Kanye. Kanye's life is in shambles right now.
Right.
Let's be real about it.
Right.
From 4 billion to 400 million, which is still like an inordinate amount, but
Wouldn't mind that problem.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lost Kim.
He's no longer a billionaire, but
Right,
half a billion.
all these, all these business ties that he's lost. very recently. Almost MIA. You don't even see him right now. Like they're literally trying to find him. They thought he was missing.
That's what y'all told him to do.
Because yeah, exactly.
And they got mad at me when I said it. Called me a sellout. And look what Kanye did.
But I think
Golf did.
I think yeah.
Shit.
But I think the reasoning behind it is that they're trying to serve him with some papers or something. And he's not trying to get.
Well, nah, he's getting low as he should.
Yeah. So he's laying low, super low, right? But anyway, my point being, his life is like in utter shambles right now. We're not gonna take this and then conflate that with his music career. His music is still elite,
right? Classic
material, classic albums,
shout out,
anthems, all that produced classic material, right? Nearly half the blueprint, right? So we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna conflate the business success,
the off the court
and the
with the on
life
the court
success, the off the court with the on the court.
Okay.
The on the court statistics. You know what I mean? We're not gonna do that.
Oh, okay.
Performances. That's what the word I like.
Now, usually, Mase, I would pass to you here, and then I'd come back around. But I'd like to call a little ISO.
Do you think? John?
You know what I mean? This tweet, this whole exchange is actually really funny to me, because it's like both parties involved. I would not expect those tweets, because I see their tweets. We follow each other. I see their tweets, and I wouldn't guess this. Then the agreeing, it's like, whoa, time out. You agree with that? So it's like, for me, less to do with the Nas and Jay-Z of it all. Pardon me. More to do with this Beyonce narrative that, if nothing else, that's really been getting under my skin for the last 5 years or so. You know what I mean? Because it's like a lot of people seem to this whole line about Beyonce's husband and Jay-Z wasn't this before he married Beyonce and all of this and that, and he cleaned up his image like master student said, etc. Bro, at the time that they got together as a couple, officially on wax, on air, whatever you want to call it, for the public to know, Jay-Z was the bigger star. The way people talk about Jay-Z and Beyonce, it's like y'all forgot what Hov did up until 2002. Was Hov a nobody until 2002 when he officially made it official? Last time I checked, he was arguably the #1 rapper in the world when he got with Beyonce. He was already worth $100 million when he got with Beyonce. When did Jay-Z become this nobody schlep? When did Jay-Z become A$AP Rocky? Wait a minute. Time out.
Wow.
And that's not to say that A$AP isn't successful in his own right, but there's a clear level,
right,
or two or three involved in the relationship between Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. Rihanna is a megastar. I wouldn't say A$AP Rocky's a megastar.
Absolutely not.
I don't even know if A$AP is a superstar. He's a star. He's a celebrity.
Yeah.
But
and Beyonce in 02 isn't Rihanna in 2023.
Hell no.
Nah.
No. So this I'm getting kind of tired of it. It's like they've been, as much as Sin wants to play this card, and I know the Escobarians and the Syrians, they play the card about people downplaying Nas's career. I'm watching people downplay Jay-Z's success in real time, and it's like, do I need to get some PIM particles and go into the quantum realm or go back in the past to remind niggas what Jay-Z was doing circa 02? Because Beyonce didn't have shit to do with Hov's success.
Nah.
Hov was going to be Hov regardless. Hov could have married a chick that worked at McDonald's.
He was 1 year away from retirement when he got with
What
Beyonce.
y'all saying? He wasn't going to be a billionaire without Beyonce? What room wasn't he going to get in without Beyonce? I don't understand. Did he not
disagree?
Did he not sell Rockaway for X amount of dollars? Was he not raising his net worth?
He was about to be the
It is
president of
interesting
Def
because
Jam.
it's like you agree but don't agree at the same time.
Ah, yeah, there you go. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you wanted to get into some Hov and Nas shit and we want to get back to the lunch table, I'm always here for that type of talk.
But leave Beyonce out of it.
But don't ever say that Beyonce has something to do with Jay-Z's success.
Okay,
That's horse shit. Okay? That's the biggest load of bullshit ever. Jay was gonna get where he got regardless of Beyonce.
But
did she clean him up a little bit image-wise? But Hov wasn't DMX. He wasn't some super rugged nigga.
Right.
It wasn't much to clean up.
This is true, but he was on some, big pimping shit. You know what I mean? Like,
But was he doing that in 02? He wasn't even doing that in 01.
possibly.
He was making the transition by the time he
Right.
found
The transition
Beyonce.
was gonna
But
happen
don't
regardless.
you think he himself has something to do with it?
What you mean?
Got the hottest chick in the game wearing my chain.
Cause she was. It had nothing to do with legitimizing him.
But then,
did niggas not want Beyonce? And what are we doing here?
If Drake got with SZA right
Come
now,
on,
would that be
bro.
like, like
Beyonce
I'm
with
just
the
saying
butt lips in 2002, bro.
the whole
Niggas wanted
Avengers took that
Beyonce.
and ran with it, and have been running with
She
it
was
for the past 7
fire.
years. Of course.
yeah.
But
No,
now,
and be clear, I
it's
always
a
liked
double-edged
Kelly.
sword.
But
It's a double-edged sword. You just gotta take the good with the bad.
saying she's the hottest chick in the game because she was at the time
She wasn't even solo yet.
doesn't even equate to him not being him regardless.
Mm-hmm.
They were an it couple because he was a somebody. He wasn't still in Marcy dropping albums. What the fuck going on here? Now the whole thing about winning the war.
So it wasn't upgrade. It wasn't upgrade.
She upgraded him.
Oh, okay.
I'll admit that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because again, Beyonce was all right. Let's put a bow on this. I would say Beyonce made Jay-Z more palatable to the white people. Is that fair?
As she progressed in her career.
Yeah. There's certain homes that you're not gonna get into without Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
It's like TV shit. You got a TV 14 program, right? You're not gonna get a certain amount of viewers. The minute you go TV PG, you get into a general audience. Now you can get into more households, you make more bread. Beyonce took hold from TV 14 to PG. You know what I mean? So certain audiences were more, at the very least, interested in tapping in.
Right.
I say that. That's where it is.
Right.
But he was gonna cash out regardless. He was gonna be him regardless. That's my opinion. Y'all can argue in the chat. But the whole thing about the war and all of that, I think I've said something to that degree. And I say that, relax guys. I say that because a lot of times when you battle people, say Mase and I, we two top rappers, right? I lose. A lot of times the loser of that battle goes into the shadow realm. Two high-end, high notable rappers, not nobodies.
Right.
Somebody's going to the shadow realm.
It happens.
I said it on this pod a few years ago. Jay lost, dropped Blueprint 2, moved 3 or 4 million, depending on who you ask. So he didn't lose. He lost. But you look at what happened to Ja Rule by comparison.
Oh, man.
He went into the gulag, never to be seen again. A lot of rappers lost battles and we never heard from or they weren't viewed the same.
Looking at you, Cannabis.
If we want to take it all the way back, all respect due to Kool Mo D, but
Oh, man, that's the
after
original,
LL
right?
got a hold of it.
All right. So when
LL got Kool Mo D and Cannabis out of it.
right.
Yo,
and the
much
issue,
respect to LL,
the whole
man.
ventures make it real difficult for us to have conversations because they get so over the top that the Nasarians and the Escobarians feel like they can't take what's being said seriously. We've dealt with that as a show. They thought we were a whole venture podcast and they didn't really understand where we were coming from. What I'm saying is Jay, for all intents and purposes, leveled up his career post-battle. So I can understand the logic of he won the war because he didn't get sent to the gulag. He leveled up. People were still calling him the GOAT. Nas was still great in his own right, but he didn't get Jay-Z out of here. So people saying he won the war, I understand that logic, but I've spoken enough. Mase, what do you have to say about this whole thing?
Oh, man. Y'all done wrapped it up a lot, but this little nigga named Nas think he live like me.
Whoa.
Talking about he left the hospital, took 5 like me.
Whoa.
Living fantasies, nigga. Holy Is a black girl lost? A shorty owe you for ice? All I'm saying is that this is not the first time that Nas's life not matching up to his lyrics has come up. So I don't want to just throw the guys under the bus. That's been a narrative, even when people have gone against them. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But as far as
you're quoting the Blueprint 2
I'm quoting Pac and
Blueprint 2.
and the Blueprint 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just in the fact that, like this didn't come out of nowhere. Like people have been saying, Pac even got that a little bit, but Nas definitely has gotten the criticism of your life not matching your lyrics. You know what I mean? Like that's been a thing. I'm not saying I agree, but that narrative has been a long carry.
You need to be clear because they already know what the fuck, Mase.
Yeah, if I could just say a little piece about that. Pac went at everybody on the East Coast. Like I don't even take Pac's words towards Nas seriously because he literally picked a fight in a war with the whole coast.
Right.
Nas.
That he's from.
What, Biggie, Nas, Mobb Deep, Jay, like literally everybody got it. So his words towards Nas, I don't even take those seriously because he was just shooting at
But he
everybody.
said it though.
I think
Right.
Nas did though, because Nas is quoted as saying he cried the first time he heard Against All Lies. But to get into, to get
You're gonna have to show me that quote.
I sure will.
Yo, NTG, you got us on Instagram. Find that quote, put it in the DM.
Find that. Find that.
But also the Jay song, Jay sounded like he was hurt.
Sin,
and
can
crying
Mase
on that
finish?
song. Okay,
Can Mase finish?
Blueprint 2 is the
That's
most
a classic
overrated.
song.
No, it's fucking
Lil
overrated
Homie Jungle is a garden to me is one of the hardest
He
lines
sounded
ever.
so hurt.
Nah.
But proceed.
How you sounded hurt?
Hurt.
All
Hurt
right.
that the people turned their backs on him.
That's what I was trying
That
to do,
was,
folks.
Go ahead.
Nah, but just to get into the war aspect of everything, I think we have to at this point, like, are Nas and Jay-Z's entire careers a war? Like, didn't the war end when they got on stage together and
Yes.
they said this is
Wasn't
over?
it called I Declare War? Wasn't the name of the show?
Yeah, the I Declare War show.
yeah.
So it's like, I'm not gonna say Jay's accolades in 2013, matter to the war with Nas, which was, the late 90s to the mid 2000s. Nas won the war, guys. Like, this isn't a debate. Jay-Z, he's the richest guy in hip hop history. He's one of the biggest icons ever, one of the most influential. All of that can be possible, and Nas won the war.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't like the whole, we're gonna take shit that don't have anything to do with anything and
Facts.
apply it.
Because Beyonce had nothing to do with the battle.
At all.
At all.
You know what I mean? I remember,
Carmen did.
Carmen in the book. Carmen in the book said that Nas was with Beyonce first. Like, it's like a whole, it's like a whole bunch of things. You know what I mean? So it's like shit that doesn't matter to two people going back and forth.
I mean,
on
you
record.
can ski in a Jeep and leave condoms in the baby seat, and that could not matter too. So, it is what it is.
I
Leave the women out of the war.
an interesting part, and I don't mean to
Patty
break
shit,
off of the
Right.
initial topic, is I saw somebody make the argument that in that time that wouldn't have worked, but in the battles now, I think it was Quentin Miller talking about the Pusha T Drake
Bro,
battle.
if Hov gets that bar off
In
now,
2023,
it's over
it
with.
would have been
Twitter
over.
would've
I
dragged it.
and I heard that, and I was like, I kind of could see that in the 2023 world.
Because we
that
live in a
being
pettier.
over.
Sin, you gotta admit, right now the world is a lot more pettier. It's
Yeah.
not as honorable as
Yeah.
it was back then.
Exactly.
The tweets get a hold of the memes that come out of condoms and baby seats.
That the Twitter would have been on fire the night Super Ugly dropped. Like,
Yo.
you know what I mean? There would have been pictures from '99 of Carmen and Jay-Z
Right.
coming out of the club. Like,
But,
it'd have
like,
been wild shit.
But that speaks to the hypocrisy, because a lot of people who would tell you that what Nas did in bringing up Pusha's lady and then Pusha responded with his information was wrong are the same people who was co-signing whatever happened 20 years ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Wait, you mean Drake?
yeah. Remember, like, both sides got a little chatty patty, because saying that Drake
Yeah.
had a son and Drake talking about Pusha T's wife,
But that's
and they
the
were
thing.
cheering for Pusha T when that happened.
But-
But they said that Jay was wrong for saying what he said.
Because Pusha will tell you Drake crossed the line first
Yeah.
by even mentioning the name.
No, I get what you're
So,
saying.
right.
But the people
I think
all
dick
who they
sucking
are.
lips might have been crossing the line.
Right. But what I'm saying
I
is,
was gonna say, if you think that dick sucking lips is crossing the line, then I can see an argument for
I'm
it.
just saying
but you're
that-
not bringing other people into the mix.
the space is so hypocritical that it almost is like it depends on who you ask and how they feel about said artist. Like, if I don't fuck with Sin and Walter says, yo, what do you think about Sin's latest beat? That shit is garbage.
Right.
Meanwhile, it's in my headphones and I'm rocking to it.
And you fucking with it.
You feel
Listen,
me?
look, the bigger that we get, the more we grow.
Pause.
The more pause. Hey
Pause.
yo.
Hey.
It was a light one.
The more careful I want to be with the things I say, so
Right.
I'm gonna choose my words carefully. But at the table, we probably know how I feel about Drake. So when Pusha was like, yeah, I'm gonna expose you, I was all here for it. I was like, yes, expose that guy.
He was Larry Bird at 86 with the towel.
You wasn't-
Yeah.
But you wasn't feeling the condoms in the baby seat?
Nah, that was a little,
Hypocrite.
that was a little much. That was a little much.
But the overall.
Because Nas ain't deserve that. I think. Well, anyway,
What? What does that even
he
mean?
didn't deserve that.
So I can tell a nigga he got DSLs, but if I smash your chick, that's not legal.
Why say that about me knowing I'm
Right.
like the unmitigated gall?
The temerity. Nah, but overall, bro, this whole shit was. Look, them niggas. We should be more thankful that both sides came out of that situation relatively unscathed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Still went on to have legendary careers. Still argued about who's number one, depending on who you ask. The Escobarians are gonna tell you it's Nas. The whole Vengers are gonna say it's Jay. The Pac fans don't give a fuck, and everybody wins. But this kind of honestly, bro, the shit about Nas light don't add up to his lyrics. It's a little nasty. Because, all right, Nas ain't Jay-Z as far as pop shit, but we've had that conversation about sales and how you get promoted and things of that nature. So I would say that based on how Nas has been promoted as an act, his light does match his lyrics because his light kind of been held back a little bit. But I do like Dave East on the Math podcast is like, Nas saying my name on the radio created my career to this day. So what you mean is light don't add up to his lyrics? The light created a whole career.
But what does he mean by light? That's the thing that's confusing to me. Like, does he mean
Stardom. That's how I'm taking it.
His stardom, or like the persona he gives off is like a, kind of righteous. You know what I mean? That righteous kind of energy.
Is it
you know what I mean?
Wally Wally? Is it one mic?
That thing. That's how I took it.
We're gonna have to have.
But
on
Nas,
show.
I mean, to me, Nas is always put on for the culture, and to me, like Nas has always been about the culture first, and everything else is second. You know what I mean? And to this day, he's still putting on for the culture. The Hip Hop 50 podcast,
Oh yeah.
the Supreme Team documentary, telling Queen stories, bro. Like, you know what I mean? He's of the culture, and he always puts on for the culture. So you can't say no dumb shit like that.
Yo, listen. The fact that we can still find new ways to talk about this topic all these years later speaks to how powerful it was, how dope it was, and all this light talk and Beyonce and condoms. It's pointless. It's pointless. You know what I want to happen? Matter of fact, I'm putting this on wax right now.
What's that?
You know what I really want to happen that would really fuck up the whole space? I want Hov and Nas to drop an album together, bro. That's it. That's it. That would ruin everything.
That would, yeah. That
You really want that, John?
Yes.
Because I feel.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like
I'm putting it on wax.
All right.
It's on wax.
All right. All right.
Do the album.
Let's make it happen.
At this point, I feel like we, the people of hip hop, deserve a Hov and Nas album
Produced by Primo.
by Hit Boy.
Okay.
We don't know. We don't want Primo in
Nah.
2023.
Hey, relax.
no
relax.
disrespect, Primo.
I'll give me some Alk, give me some Hit Boy, and I'm good.
I'm good. I'm gonna be.
No
I
Ninth
ain't gonna
Wonder.
hold
Sorry,
you.
no Ninth Wonder.
Oh, come on, man.
No ninth. But Alk and Hit, Hov and Nas,
Threats was fire.
that was
bro.
20 years ago.
Threats was fire.
Has he done another one since?
Threats was cool.
Threats was fire.
That's another one of those overstated songs on the Black Album that it was
Come
good,
on,
but it-
y'all.
Like my first
Nah,
song,
y'all
overstated. It's y'all dragged it in the
My
moment.
first song was definitely overrated.
You know what I mean? Let's move on to the next topic here. Since the Rap Snob do something in our group chat that one day we'll make a little more public. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
The infamous.
We say a lot of
chat.
stuff in there.
A lot of shit. You might have to pay for that
Must
group chat.
remain
I
a
ain't gonna
mystery.
lie.
Patreon.
Oh yeah.
The initiated only.
I said, wow. About to say their names together. I'm not even drunk.
Lob deep.
Lob deep.
Yo.
That sound like a good ass basketball team.
Lob
actually.
deep. Rucker Park. Anyway, Locks or Mobb Deep? Which group better? Matter of fact, let's clear it up right now. Do we want to go straight up who's nicer or who's greater? Because those are two different arguments.
Two different arguments.
Yeah, I think originally the conversation started from somebody. Damn, and I meant to look it up and I forgot. But somebody had tweeted that the Locks were lyrically better than Mobb Deep.
Oh, let's get it.
Okay.
And I think that's where the conversation started from. And even saying that, I was like, let's not. It's not a wash. You can make the argument, but don't act like like Prodigy wasn't him. I think that's the new saying out there with the with the young kids or whatever. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like Prodigy was that guy.
Okay.
Prodigy was him.
9-5 Prodigy, yeah.
9-5, 9-6.
Yeah.
9-5, 9-6, 9-7.
Shit. 9-3 a little bit.
Like, you know what I mean? And then Havoc was dope in his own accord. But the thing is that, like, everybody always looks at Jadakiss, but there's also Styles P.
Right.
And so that combination, that back and forth.
Come on.
Don't leave out Sheik.
You ain't got to tell me to not leave out Sheik. I'm saying what people are looking at. You're the one to be leaving out Sheik. Don't do that to me.
You didn't say
Y'all
Sheik.
tried to paint the narrative early.
He didn't say Sheik. I didn't get to talk yet.
Because people don't look at Sheik like that.
Sheik is nice,
Apparently you don't either.
Because I'm talking about.
Why'd you say SP in Kiss?
Because of what people look at it as.
I didn't know the Locks were a duet. That's all I'm saying. Or duo, pardon me.
But yeah, I mean, if we're talking about just from a lyrical standpoint, it's hard to argue against the lyrical dexterity of a Jadakiss.
Tough.
And then you add Styles P to that and the way that they work again back and forth. Pause. You know what I mean? But the thing about Prodigy to me is that his style was not like a traditional style. Right. You know what I mean? It wasn't it was a little bit of an unorthodox style. So if you're looking for, like just straight up bars, straight across the table bars, Jadakiss and Styles P is gonna give it to you. But like there was just something special about Prodigy to me that I'm like, I can't. Having this argument, it's like I feel like I'm being disrespectful to P and his energy and his memory. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. But as far as like who is the greater group, is Mobb Deep hands down.
Okay. Mase, I've spoken enough on this episode already, so I'm gonna pass the ball.
Sin is right. The two questions you presented have clear answers. Like Mobb Deep is the greater group, classic albums, more influence over a classic era. That's a clear answer. You know what I mean? But lyrically, I mean, that's just as clear to me. Like, and I love Prodigy, bro. I love Prodigy, man. But Jada, Styles, and Sheik, bro. Like, come on now. These are like your basic, like, you know how you got like your scorers, you got your shooters, you got your like, these were like the East Coast lyrical guys for a decade straight. You know what I'm saying? When people wanted to say, oh, Jay went pop or Nas is kicking knowledge or all the shit that you tried to denigrate other artists for, same with Fab or Cam, everybody agreed that Jada was never deviated from that lyrical persona, that how hard he went with the bars. It's not just the albums, it's the mixtape era, it's the classic battles. I don't know if the Locks have ever lost a battle.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Mobb Deep ever won a battle. So wow, bro. So I'm
That's
just
crazy.
saying, like, on a lyrical
Yo, wait a minute. Time out. Listen, man.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
That's crazy.
I'm just saying, man. Like on a lyrical tip, man. This is not a debate for me, man.
I'm gonna come clean. I don't think they deserve that. That was not cool, bro. I'm not. I think we can have to stop
They
the
didn't
show
deserve
right here.
Takeover. They didn't deserve Hit 'Em Up. They ain't deserve a lot of shit, y'all.
Damn it, man.
So I'm just saying, like on as an iconic group, if I have a top, like Mobb Deep is like a top 3 group ever in rap to me. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like period, like Outkast level, Tribe level. You know what I'm saying? So like on just the artistic level, their greatness, yeah, it's Mobb. But if we just talking bars, lyrical shit, it's the Locks, and it ain't even a debate.
But I also want to just throw in here, like, if we're talking about, because part of this conversation also stemmed from the Math Hoffa list that he put out of the greatest
Math,
groups
I
of
love
all
you.
time.
Terrible list.
And he put was it number 1 or number 2?
I don't even remember, bro.
It was up
The
there.
list was so ridiculous, I didn't study it. Math, I'm sorry,
Shit
but
list,
that list
Math.
wasn't a good list.
And I was just like, bro, I don't know how old Math Hoffa is, but I feel like there's
Self-out,
Locks, but I feel like there's Locks narrative of them being overall in the elite tier of all-time groups is a millennial thing.
Whoa! Wait a minute!
I feel like there's if you're of a certain age and
That's
under,
crazy.
and you were here for when the Locks debuted, like 98, 99, 2000. You was there for the mixtapes and that whole era, all the freestyles and all that era. And if you started paying attention when Mobb Deep was already kind of on the decline, because let's be real, after Murder Music, you know what I mean? The albums wasn't hitting like that. But that trio from the infamous To Hell on Earth to Murder Music is one of the most elite three-peats in the history of rap, group or otherwise. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's a divide there where, like, if you're putting up the Locks versus Mobb Deep, like, overall, you wasn't really there for the Mobb Deep era and how like filthy they were. Like, you just weren't.
Okay. First and foremost, Mase.
Get rid of this guy.
That Mobb Deep bar right there. I know you a Pac fan, bro, but they ain't deserve that, bro. You know what I mean? Like
Rest in peace, P. Rest in peace, Pac. We miss y'all.
Nah, and why do we fucking keep acting like he's somebody that we need to fuck with? Get rid of this guy.
What the fuck, bro?
Yo, did that to one of our late
Wow.
Like,
Nah.
Jumpy hit me with one of those episodes, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Like the nerve of you, bro.
But if we're gonna do that, we definitely have to talk about how Jada got dragged through fucking South Philly.
We're gonna get there. We're getting there.
Through Broad Street and back.
Hold on. Because the tweets were
By
talking.
Beanie Siegel.
The tweets
Let's
were
be
talking.
real about it.
Listen.
And you know what? You actually
They got a little mad at me because I said Beans took that easily.
Easily.
And I stand by that.
Sincere the rap snob. So that's
About to sun-kiss like a soda,
and you know
man.
what? At first I was like, we're gonna wait, but that was a beautiful alley. Because I gotta say it, and you know what? I'm taking the show into a place where, there's gonna be some downvotes.
Oh man.
It might be some dislikes for what I'm about to say. But I feel like history has been overly kind to the Locks. I also feel like internet culture has boosted up the Locks. Because now, depending on what part of the internet or where your algorithm resides, these guys are all the way up here, right?
Very revered.
Right?
Very revered in certain circles.
But it's like we do this thing on the Rap Roundtable. We talk about people's careers and we break it down by MVPs. We break it down by championships, right? Do we not? We do that, right, Zen?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know where the MVP or the championships are for the Locks. I've seen a couple of second round exits in the playoffs.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
I've seen some strong seasons. But Kiss don't got an MVP. SP don't got an MVP. She damn sure don't got an MVP.
I don't even.
Well, Walter's making faces over there.
He doesn't,
I don't know.
Walter.
I don't know if he agrees.
Walter, I'm sorry.
I don't know if he agrees.
And it's
he
like-
might be
We gotta
pissing
be
Walter.
top
And I
three
know that this is
finishes.
a little salacious, and our engineer who can crush the show right now might disagree. But the fact remains is these guys have benefited from perception. They've benefited from mixtapes. As sports fans, the Rap Roundtable loves a good sports analogy. In my opinion, a mixtape is the preseason. The albums are the regular season, playoffs, and championships.
Talk
If you're
about it.
telling me that mixtapes dictate who you are as an artist, then there's no way you could tell me with a straight face that the Locks are a better group than Mobb Deep. There's no way. Now, are you saying lyrically, are they nicer? Yes. Of course.
Yeah.
Take Sheik out the equation for a second. Styles and
See, I knew you was gonna
no,
do it.
because what I'm saying, no, hear me out.
All right.
Hear me out. SP and Kiss alone have created such a dichotomy of lyricism, back and forth bars, moments, real moments that we can look to.
We
That
gonna make it.
you can't argue about lyricism. Yes, the preseason, the mixtapes, the bars from all three of them. Even damn, Simmons spilled the drink. You know what I mean? Even with J Hood on the D Block tapes. the D-Block mixtapes, the Clue tapes, the freestyles on radio stations. It's all there, right? Shout out to my man Moneybag Yo. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if we're talking about the annals of the quintessential time in New York rap history, it's Mobb Deep. It ain't the Lox. When everyone goes back to the early 90s, the mid 90s, the late 90s, they talk about Mobb Deep. Some of the most important songs in rap history come from Mobb Deep.
Mobb.
One of your favorite producers is on the Mobb Deep tree. Alchemist.
Facts.
He's part of that family, bro. So it's like some of the songs that you hear to this day when mix show DJs put their shows together. If they don't have some of those quintessential Mobb Deep records on there, it don't count, right? The battles with Tupac, the battles with Hove and whoever else, they hit because they were who they were, right? And as far as groups go, because you can't put groups and solos together, Mobb Deep got some championships. Mobb Deep got MVPs. The Lox don't got either. So for me, they're the better group. They're the greater group. There's better individual talent on the Lox. But as far as a team goes, it's almost like you got Kyrie and Braun on the Lox, but Mobb Deep is Golden State.
Right.
Together, they're unstoppable. Apart, it might be a little shaky. But when you bring them together, what you gonna do with them?
Right.
Give me the team that's winning the chips. Sorry, guys, not sorry. Mobb Deep is the better group. Argue with me in the comments. I'm putting this on fucking Twitter. Curse me out on there. Y'all Lox fans are real loud. And also the fucking verses. The verses got a lot of shit confused because they debated. They went with Dipset. Dipset's not a group. Dipset is a crew.
Nah, somebody was on Twitter saying like they really wish, and I agree with them. Like I really wish P was here so we could have like a true the Lox versus Mobb Deep versus. That would be like fucking amazing.
Was Jadakiss getting Wu-Tang out of here?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
Shit. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys.
And this is why I'm mad that that Deanie's not here today because like he would have batted heavy for Jada and the Lox for sure.
Well, take your vitamin C pills next time. Hey,
to the Lox though.
So we got the Boom Bap Nation list. You know, we trying to get the liquor on the table cleaned up. There's liquor on the rap round table. Big surprise, we're alcoholics. So we have this really
shout out to the alcoholics.
Shout out. Ain't fucking with Mobb Deep either. But
it's on the same label, but
Boom Bap Nation at the end of the year, y'all know list season comes about and everyone puts out the list.
Bunch of lists.
We put out some lists that people actually liked. Big surprise. The Rap Roundtable knows what they're talking about, huh?
Oh, who'd have thunk it?
But Boom Bap Nation put out a list that was highly controversial. I don't know if they took it down, but they were getting a lot of tomatoes thrown at them.
It's still up there.
It's still up there? Oh, okay. So since they're the rap snob,
yes, sir.
Can you lay out this list and let's break it down?
Yeah. Boom Bap Nation, shouts to them or him or whoever it is. Because I do follow them on Instagram. Let me get the list up here. There it goes. Obviously I'm gonna follow them because the name of the platform is Boom Bap Nation.
Of course.
I'm going to be there for all of that, right? And so they post a lot of, classic golden era videos and songs and content on there, right? But then they decided to put out a list and it fucking burst my whole bubble. Because I'm like, nah, I don't want to follow these guys now after this list.
What
this
happened?
list is crazy.
The fuck are you
Is
talking
that what you said?
Yeah.
The fuck are you talking about?
Check this out. So I'm gonna just go through the top 5.
Go ahead, son.
Right. Nas at number 1. All right. Good job.
Don't get hyped now, Chad. Wait.
Chad is like, yeah, what you mean?
The law of averages says they had to get something right.
Right.
Okay.
And then timely for this segment, they had Jadakiss at number 2. Number 2. Now again, like, look,
what the fuck?
Shout to Jada, man.
And I want to be careful because I don't want this to turn into what might sound like a Lox or Jada slander fest, right? Because Lox are legendary,
yes,
right? It's just here's how I see it.
We are trying to be objective.
The Lox are legends. They're legendary. They are legends. Mobb Deep are icons. as far as I see.
Right.
They're iconic. They have the iconic songs, iconic anthems.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
All-time great
Albums.
team.
Right. But Jadakiss at number 2 is crazy to me, right? Because you're just gonna have him jump right past Rakim, jump right over Jay, jump right over fucking shit, LL Cool J. Like there's so many
It's really ridiculous.
like all around MCs that deserve to be in the top 5, and Jadakiss just like leapfrogged over all of them to number 2. Wild. Number 3, Redman. I love Redman. It's a little high to me. Top 5. All right. You know, again, Redman changed my life with what the album. Number 3 is a little high. Number 4, Black Thought. And then number 5. And again, I want to preface this with I love all of these MCs. I love all of these artists. But Jizza at number 5.
Man, fuck all of that. Sit. Fuck
Jizza,
all of that.
Chill. Jizza at number 5. Liquid Swords is one of my favorite albums of all time. But that's about as far as it goes with Jizza.
Okay.
All right. Number 5, top 5 MC of all time. Over Rakim, over Jay-Z, over LL Cool J.
Jay-Z not even on the list.
KRS.
Right.
Like, can we get to
Crazy.
the point?
Talk about
Right.
He's not on the
Jadakiss
list.
jumping
Crazy.
over Hov. Papoose jumped over Hov.
Right.
How is he not on the list?
So now, who's not on the list? Biggie's not on the list. I have to mention Big first. I'm
As you
sorry.
should, as
I'm
you should.
sorry.
As you should.
Biggie's not on the list, and drum roll,
Jay-Z's
please.
not on the list.
Jay-Z's not on the list either, right? Which some of you out there might be happy about. I don't know, but
That's fucking ridiculous.
fucking wild.
Royce the 5 not on this list, but Hov not? Big not?
Papoose is in there.
You don't have Tupac on the list,
What?
but you have Snoop Dogg on the list.
What?
Papoose is in there. As shouts to Big L, he made it, but I mean, I love Big L, but like
Is this the
What
all
over
about-
Biggie,
what about
or-
this
and Jay
list?
and LL Cool J, and it seems like this is a completely anti-mainstream. But then you have LL Cool J in there, so I don't understand how that's possible.
right?
All-time 25 greatest NBA players. Number 1, Michael Jordan. Number 2, Charles Barkley. This shit doesn't make any fucking sense, man. Like, come on, son. What's the criteria? What type of list dictates that Chuck D is your number 8? Like, and that's love to Chuck, but what the fuck is going on with this list? Number 15, LL. Number 16, Big Pun. Like, what around them make? Where are you coming from with this list, Boom Bap Nation?
And you hit it on the head. Pause again. Damn. Because like this list doesn't look like it has any criteria whatsoever. It just looks like a preference list.
Like,
Yeah.
your
Who does he
25.
like?
Yeah.
That's it. They're 25 favorite MCs.
I'll take it a step further before I pass it back
Papoose
to
is
Mace.
better than Biggie, according to Boom Bap Nation, bro.
This list reads like the list of all the niggas that the internet loves to overrate.
Yeah, actually.
That's what it reads like to me. Go ahead, Mace.
Nah, I'm kind of wrapped up. I wanted to hear what you had to say, Joff, because I'm just looking at the list and just like we were speaking about, like, I have no clue why any name is on the list and what type of order they are. Like,
Right.
I really cannot tell. Like, I can't, like, you can't be talking about classic albums if Jadakiss is your number 2, bro. Like, you can't just be talking about bars if you put Snoop Dogg on the list. Like, you don't understand what I'm saying? Like, I have no clue why they put these 25 names on the list.
What, like, and that's where I'm lost at, because I need to know a specific criteria. Or is it no particular order? But then you put numbers here, so I guess there's an order,
Right?
right?
It have to be in order.
Look,
But-
now. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But it's like what's fucking me up is based on the lack of a criteria, Snoop Dogg is above Prodigy. Based on what?
Based on what?
You know what I'm saying? Lauryn Hill is above LL. Based on what? Big L is number 25. Big L's career got stopped before it could even really properly start. Rest in peace. So how is he there? Like what? So
is
Big
like-
L makes the list with Pac and Big, who actually dropped albums like revered classics. Where's it at? Jadakiss, who doesn't have a classic album to his name, is number 2. What is the
I don't
criteria
even know
here?
if he has a great album.
Right. Fair is fair. like again, you can be a nice rapper, all-time great lyricist, but your discography can be shaky. And Kiss's album, this album for album, it's not there.
Super shaky. Styles has better albums than Jada. Like, let's keep it a buck. It's just like a fucking grocery list. It's
Chuck
like
D's above Big Daddy Kane.
You randomly thought of 80s rappers, so it's Rakim, KRS, Chuck D, Big Daddy Kane, Ice Cube. It's like, you know what I'm saying? You just were like having spasms and you just were thinking of names.
It looks like a train of thought list. Like
Ghostface is
as
below
they
Cube?
thought of them, as they thought of the names, they jotted them down. It's weird.
Losing me here. Like
what honestly what I feel like is like this platform is purely a nostalgia platform, and they don't really, get into the criteria of
This
like
stinks, man.
What you said?
I said this list stinks, man. Like, y'all just randomly
But no,
throw Royce
it's
the
evident to me now
5'9" in there,
because
nigga.
following them on Instagram, I see all the nostalgia posts and I'm like, yo, this is dope. This is my shit back in the day. But then when it comes down to like really discerning shit based on any type of criteria, and really breaking shit down, objectively, just stick to posting your nostalgia. Stick to posting the 90s videos and the 80s videos and the golden era shit. Stick to posting stuff that, I obviously love, but this list, don't make no more lists, bro.
And it feels like to me that what they did with this list had nothing to do with being comprehensive.
Right.
Had nothing to do with like this is how I
Being
really
objective.
Feel. It sure feels like this is a B.ass list where I'm gonna put some shit out here for niggas to get outraged, to get the clicks and the likes and the reshares, and it's not a truly objective, caring about the culture list. And it's like, you know what? I get it. That's the internet in 2023 now.
Right.
So part of it is not to be earnest. It's about getting clicks. And I think that's where our show always falls short because we're not trying to get clicks. We're trying to be earnest as fuck.
We're trying.
And I feel like Boom Bap Nation said, we're going to put out a list that's going to piss niggas off and it's going to go viral. And success, you did. You know what I mean?
Made the round
but
table.
Fuck this list.
Y'all
you know what I'm saying?
Y'all made a segment.
Fuck this list, bro. I'm really disgusted by it.
I just want to add on real quick because he had a follow up because he felt the tomatoes, crashing against his window and shit. So he had a follow up post where he said he's comparing artists that are not on his list versus artists that are on his list. One of the comparisons was who had the better debut album, Biggie or Big Pun. Biggie, who's not on the list, and Big Pun, who is on the list. Who had the better debut album? And as the number one Big Pun fan probably in the world, definitely on this table.
Boo that man.
Boo that man. Because there's I love Capital Punishment to the end of the earth and back, but it is
ready to die, nigga? Like,
no possible way Capital Punishment is better than Ready to Die.
There is no conversation worth having that has Capital Punishment above Ready to Die.
In no universe.
Unless you're speaking of Fat Joe, that's it, man. Like,
in no universe.
Man, look, Boom Bap Nation, I'm sorry to say it, but
like, who is this guy? Where'd he come from? And why do we fucking keep acting like he's somebody that we need to fuck with? Get rid of this guy.
Take that list and pack it up, bro.
And get off my list.
Please.
Damn, this lawn is heavy tonight. So, speaking of the lawns and things that make Sincere happy or unhappy.
Oh, man.
You know, New York Times put out some information that made Sincere a very happy rap fan. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let Sincere have the full ISO. I'm not taking any shots. I'm not trying to get no assists. Go ahead, Sin. Do your thing, bro.
So I'm going to talk my shit, and I'm not getting straight into the topic just yet. Because I just want to list out my resume of shit that I have called
Here we go.
at this table.
There we go.
Right? I told motherfuckers about Griselda.
Motherfuckers.
Jarv tells you every time we talk about Griselda, I'm the one that introduced Griselda to this table.
He did that.
Right? I said, Rome Streets, that I have the fucking
Diddy wanted that one, though.
text.
Diddy did want that one, bro.
I have the text. I have it screenshotted. I told motherfuckers, Rome Streets, remember that name. 6 months before Dini went and shared 96 Naughty Windbreaker.
So that was first.
And then Jarv was like, yo, who's this?
Hey. Well,
Wow.
to be fair, I always say we don't take Sim seriously with certain shit. Because some of the shit he should be whack. You know what I mean?
My
It
point
be whack.
exactly. My point exactly, which is why I'm laying out this resume. Right? I won't get into the Tory thing, but
Yeah, he got that.
I said certain things about the Tory situation.
Hindsight 2020, you were right.
Very recently, in the last live, actually, the one I had to dip out of early, halfway through, I was
Shout
like,
out
nah,
to Josh.
this West Side B dot thing, it feels a little bit like pro wrestling, right? And what happened? West Side went on Twitter and said, yo, I'm just having some fun with a guy that I know. He pretty much
We're not giving you
admitted-
that. We're not giving you that.
I think a call was made.
I think West Side.
You think somebody pushed the button?
I think so.
I think what happened with that was after he did the thing when he scribbled out his face, it started to seem like bullying, and the conversation went a little left about it, and he had to clean it up.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened.
I could maybe.
I
sort of
agree
see
with
that.
Mase.
Okay.
A call was made.
All right. But let's get to
That
the
was
Kendrick.
cyberbullying. Shout out to West Side.
Let's get to the Kendrick of it all, man. I said Kendrick was coming. Pause.
Come on, bro.
And he came. Pause again.
low one today, man.
He showed up. He showed up when he was supposed to.
Much better.
Right. When the album dropped, I hailed it. I was like, this album it's fucking incredible. It's amazing. Right? It's a work of art. It's a masterpiece. Motherfuckers was talking about it's disappointing. It's a flop. The numbers ain't adding up. Right?
It wasn't though.
Now, fast forward at the end of 2022, this album appeared on the most top 10 lists of the year. The numbers are there as far as Spotify is concerned. Out of all the 2022 releases, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was the most streamed album on Spotify.
So not Apple Music?
Apple Music is a little...
It's more iPhone sold than anything else.
Well, but Apple Music is a little bit more secretive with their numbers. So they don't really put their numbers out there like that. But Spotify is always like super transparent with the numbers. So.
Yeah, take that sip, Mase.
So we have that, right? A good 1.4 billion streams on the album. And I've been saying for the longest time, for years, it's documented on this roundtable, that Kendrick Lamar is the definitive hip hop artist of this generation. Been saying that for years. All of a sudden, the New York Times wants to come out and agree with Sincere the Rap Snob. And say, I'll quote because I have the cover right here. Zoom in. What's wrong with my phone?
Now, can't you give me a straight answer?
My phone is not giving me a straight answer right now. God damn it, I'm gonna have to squint. Holy shit! Oh, there you go.
Yes.
All right.
Look how the karma just works.
The rap gods have spoken.
Thank you.
Yo, my phone really shitted on me right now, bro. God damn, time for a new phone. Fuck an iPhone. Maybe I'll go for Android next time.
Yo, that shit was right on time, bro. Yo, Bleak.
Damn you, iPhone.
Oh, man.
In partnership with longtime collaborator Dave Free, the greatest rapper of his generation is pushing himself commercially and creatively onto unexpected terrain. Speaking, of course, of Kendrick Lamar. Right? Now, I say all that to say this. By no means am I saying that the New York Times has any authority to speak on hip-hop and the culture. Right? But you add that accolade to all the other accolades, right? Add that to the fact he went plat a bunch of times. Times that by his impact on art and culture.
Right.
He's supposed to be number one on everybody's list.
You practice that in the mirror?
What more can I say?
Yo, I hate this guy.
What more can I say?
Set that up perfectly. I ain't gonna hold you.
Shouts to Kendrick Lamar, the GOAT of his generation.
Yo, Mase, you want to go?
You know, I don't. I don't want to gas Sin up, man. I really want to bring the energy of Deanie around and just shit on Kendrick. Because, you know, if there's one thing I learned about being on this pod is Deanie holds a goddamn grudge.
Oh, yeah.
He will never
Deanie pretends to be the nicest guy, bro, but he holds a grudge.
He holds a grudge. And he will never let Kendrick live it down. So I wanted to bring that energy, but...
It's been 5 years, Mo.
5 whole years he left us, Mo. Nah, it's not enough, Mo.
It's not enough. But yeah, I mean, you know, this isn't some grand, you know, crazy proclamation that Kendrick is the greatest artist of the generation. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Drake guy. You know what I'm saying? We all know that. Y'all, you know, OVO Mase in full effect. You know, we got our J. Coles, we got our, you know, our people. But this is a pretty clear answer. Kendrick's the artist of the generation. Like, he's won all the Grammys, he's made all the classic albums. You know what I mean? Like, he's, you know, I don't want to say he's went head to head with anybody. That's probably what he really missing. But yeah, man, like, this isn't some crazy statement. I mean, just like Sin said, this is the New York Times, and I'm not gonna let the New York Times, you know, dictate this. You know, I don't know what's the last. Who was their artist of the last generation? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So I don't give a damn about what the New York Times has to say. But yeah, man, I mean, that's not some crazy statement, is it? Artist of the generation, the greatest rapper of the generation. He's the only rapper of this generation that's in my top 10 list. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a crazy statement to me. Like, and Sin, I swear I wanted to come up here and battle you, bro. I really did. But yeah,
we need
I'll give Kendrick that, man. I'll give it to him.
Hold up, he's in your top 10 all time?
Yeah, Kendrick's in my top 10.
You can't trust this guy. you can't. You can't trust this guy.
Flip-flop McGee.
That's what I do, man.
You know, here's what I gotta say. Since everybody want to be real safe right now, you know, Mase, I thought you had something to say, but you chose a safe route. You know, I love that this podcast is recorded. I love that we treat it as more of a serial as opposed to episodic. Everything is connected somehow or the other. A few episodes ago, I talked about how the left-wing liberals love them some Kendrick Lamar.
They do.
And then here goes the New York Times falling right in line with what I've been saying the whole time about who reports how great Kendrick actually is. I'm sorry, Walter. It's the white people. It ain't us. It's the whites. This guy comes in here.
It's me and Mase? It's me and Mase?
Let me finish. Comes in here and celebrates what the New York Times has to say about Kendrick Lamar.
Just add it to the mantle.
I couldn't give much of a fuck at all about what the New York Times has to say. And the fact that Mase didn't have the cojones, apparently, to say it, so I'll say it. I don't give a fuck about what the New York Times has to say about rap. I'll read the New York Times for regular news, political news, a little bit of sports, some financial news, you know what I mean? Some cryptocurrency news. But rap? Mind your business, New York Times. You know what? Kendrick did have a strong year, right? But what Jarvis gonna do is all 30 whatever the hell of those companies who said he had the best album, I'm gonna sift through each and every one of those 32 and realize, excuse me, who's a hip-hop platform, who's a reputable hip-hop platform, and how many white people are involved in said platform. And then I'm gonna come back, and only then, after I do my math, will I give Kendrick any kind of credit that involves greatest of his generation. Now, pardon me, all the joking aside, we got the comedy out the way. Saying Kendrick is the greatest of his generation, what exactly are you saying? Who's the competition?
Drake and J. Cole.
Right.
J. Cole
Future,
we just started taking J. Cole seriously.
I'll be trying to tell you, man.
Outside of the Dreamville fans and like the Rotos of the world.
Right.
Hip hop. Let me be clear. Hip hop.
Straight shot.
The culture. Like the people who the triple fat goose Timberland wearing ass niggas, as an example, they just got in the Cole game. Because I would say up until, what was the album when he was kind of dissing Lil Pump? What was the name of the album again?
Ah, man.
KOD.
KOD?
KOD.
And the album before that, the Platinum with No Features, what was that? Something 1492, something, whatever you call that shit.
That's what they say is his best album. Forest Hills Drive?
Hold on.
Forest Hills Drive?
Forest Hills Drive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show you how much I cared about Cole.
Yeah.
I didn't really start looking at Cole until he diversified his sound on KOD. And I was like, this guy's actually pretty good, because for a while it was like, whatever. Mm-hmm. He was making music that we didn't want to hear. Because if I got a guy like Rodolfo telling me that I need to listen to J. Cole, then I don't need to listen to J. Cole.
Yo,
and that's how I felt.
Why we drag Rodo into this?
Because
man?
he was the first
He was the first Cole stand, bro. Like, real talk.
So it's like the culture now starting to look at Cole as a heavyweight. The Rap Roundtable the last 2 years before our most recent list had Cole number one on the rapper list because he had finally ascended, right? So let's say Cole just got there. Cole is now, if he's a boxer, he's now getting those big pay-per-view main events.
Right.
Drake is the number one rapper as far as pay-per-view main events go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The other guy, if Drake is Pacquiao, you could say that Kendrick is Floyd, right, or vice versa. It ain't much competition out there.
And Drake was on PEDs, so it's
right,
not even a...
So it's like, if you saying that Kendrick is the greatest of his generation, what's the competition? Who's the Migos?
So you're, because I've heard this before. You're saying that Kendrick is getting over on a light generation.
Yeah. As far as guys on his level, there's a lot of guys who are super nice who don't have that quote light that he has, that commercial appeal that he has. Agreed. But as far as guys who are the other guys, the old timers on let's say Mase's 10, they have a little bit of both sides. There's no competition. Because you know what? That's why I feel like sometimes battles need to happen. If Drake would have stopped being a sucker and said his name on a record, we would have got that battle. But these subs, they kept throwing at each other.
Yeah.
So he's losing that. And he made that weird ass album, Honestly Nevermind. He handed the baton
Drake
to
actually
Kendrick
battled
easily.
niggas. Let's remember that. Kendrick never battled a nigga.
Yeah, he lost to the only real rapper he ever battled.
He got Meek. That was the thing.
Meek was a competition.
That was the thing.
On paper, that was a good name fight, but we knew Drake was better than me going into that.
I did
too. You know what I mean? I said on the show, I think if Kendrick and Drake was to ever really get in the ring, I got my money on Drake. He didn't like that too much.
Chat, what do you think?
Kendrick's not.
Chat gonna say it's Kendrick.
No, not necessarily. Not everybody loves Kendrick anyway.
Chat hates Drake, bro.
Hudson, what's good, bro?
Hudson, yo, you on timing, Hudson.
My question is,
timing, bro.
My question is Kendrick in fact the hip hop artist of his generation?
Yes.
Or is he? But it doesn't matter because there's no competition. Or is he not? So those are the three choices.
He's the face.
Is it somebody else?
All right, now I'm gonna be a dickhead before we move on to the next segment. He is LeBron James in the Eastern Conference. Here it is.
Wow.
There it is.
Wow, bro.
That's
crazy. Bro.
Even better.
Wow.
LeBron in the East.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we should.
You should.
Now, next topic here. We see Griselda's in the news. Shout out to West Side Gun. The B. Saga continues.
Shout out to Griselda.
And I see what they're doing with their roster. And, you know, West Side made a lot of good points in his interview about where his roster is and what they've become over these last, I want to say 5 to 6 years or so, as far as building from the underground to getting that shady deal to being taken seriously on a semi-mainstream level. So the question that I have for my guys at the table, more so Mase than Sin, because I know how Sin feels about this collective, is Griselda becoming what Dipset was supposed to be 20 years ago?
See, that's a loaded question, y'all.
Okay, talk to me.
Because I will say musically they've surpassed Dipset at this point.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and you know I'm a Dipset. That's high school for me, y'all. So you know what I mean? Like it's not just Jimmy, Jewels, and Ken. We talking Stack. We talking Max B. We talking Uncasa. You know
J.R. Ryder.
Hell Rel and all that. You know what I mean? But I believe musically they've already created better material. One thing about the Dipset, and I love this set, is that they had no quality control. They was just throwing anything on them albums. They was experimenting with Cyndi Lauper beats. You know what I'm saying? They was doing all type of shit, bro. You know what I mean? They was throwing out mixtapes. They one of the pioneers of the mixtapes. We talk about it with D Block. You know what I mean? So they were doing a lot of shit, you know, for the quantity of it rather than the quality. And I feel like Griselda, bro, like they've mastered quality and quantity mixed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It like, you know, like a lot of people haven't. You know what I mean? I say, you know, I'm gonna throw Pac in there. You know what I mean? My guys might not agree, but there's not a lot of artists who can throw out a ton of material and all of it be at a super high level like this. Now, when Dipset has them, not Wayne. Wayne was Allen Iverson. You know what I mean? 40
Volume
points, but
shooter.
38 shots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but one thing that Dipset has is that cultural influence. We all wanted to dress like them. They, you know,
I wanted that Dipset chain so bad,
come
bro.
on, man. That Dipset Eagle, that and the Nas QB chain might be the hardest chains ever in rap. You know what I mean?
Rockefeller chain too. Have some
chain
respect.
Too, Rockefeller chain too. But it's like we wanted to dress like them. You know, they, for better or worse, claim to, you know, be one of the reasons that East Coast became so blood heavy.
Yeah.
You know, and us on the East Coast, we know with that era what it ended up looking like. You know what I mean? So it's like Dipset has that cultural, you know, Cam is like one of the biggest characters / MCs.
I wore pink because of Cam.
/ personalities in rap history. He was on the fashion shows before Kanye, you know what I'm saying, on the sideline. So it's like Dipset has that Allen Iverson factor, that cultural relevance that always kind of like has them hovering around something. But if we just talking musically, yeah, they've not only did what Dipset was supposed to, but they've surpassed them at this point, in my opinion.
Go ahead, Sim. This is a tough act to follow right there.
That's interesting. Because I kind of feel the opposite.
Whoa. What?
Wow.
Wow,
Me and
bro.
Sam
Who would've
with the
thought?
serve.
Not me.
Here's the thing. I love Griselda. I think of them more as a sort of a Wu-Tang-esque collective. But if we're comparing them to, and I don't necessarily mean in terms of quality before anybody starts balling out
Yeah.
there.
They already did.
Too late. But if we're comparing them to Dipset, one thing Dipset always kept was a fucking club banger up their sleeve, in their pocket. You know what I mean? So
Very true.
Griselda, and and I've said this before, right? As much as I love the material they put out, I wish they would at least try, because like Wu-Tang gave us an ice cream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wu-Tang gave us, Ghostface gave us Kame, Raekwon gave us ice cream. You know what I mean? There was a couple joints
Even
in there.
Protect Your Neck had a little
for the-
bop to it.
Yeah, for the ladies, for the the clubs or whatever. Method Man, obviously, the anthem with
Mary.
with Mary J. Blige. You know what I mean? That was heavy on the radio, heavy in the clubs, right? They made some songs for women, and I'm not saying because on the one hand, I feel like a lot of material today, and this is gonna sound really, really bad, but I guess I want to bring the Deanie energy a little bit onto the table.
Here we go.
Since
You know
he's
what
not
I'm
here.
saying?
But I'm like, yo, not everything got to be made for women to dance to in the clubs. Not everything.
Okay.
Right? Some things, but not everything. Right? So sometimes I feel like it's too much. Everything is too centered around what are women going to twerk to in the club. Right? But on the other hand, you could at least try to dibble and dabble and give us a little something. But Griselda is all, just Tim's and hoodie weather.
Well, Benny's right.
Just, huh? But what did Benny do?
What was it called? Burden of Proof. He had a little.
For the women?
Nah, he didn't.
Nah, that's what I thought.
You right.
You know what I mean? Like the Hit Boy sound was a little bit more palatable.
Yeah.
But
But it
Griselda
still
don't have
wasn't
nothing for women. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
So it's like
Armani?
this is where
No, I'm being Deanie.
this is where people start saying
I
that
don't think
like
I've ever listened to
Griselda
Griselda
is
woman.
Scare the Hoes music. Right? Because I didn't make that up. I didn't make
crazy,
that up.
bro.
That's a thing. I am just
Get 'em.
reporting.
First of all.
I'm reporting what's out there.
Okay.
What the narrative is out
Scared
there.
of hoes music.
Scared of
And
hoes
people
music.
say that there is such a thing as scare the hoes music.
I mean, yeah,
and Griselda
bro.
falls into that category, right? And so for me, I love Griselda, but when we compare it to Dipset, the Old Boy and Hey Ma and what else? Give me something else,
Down
guys.
and Out.
Down and Out.
Lil
And
We
Bob.
got Ballin'. We got
Ballin' was in the club.
yeah.
Super
what's the
heavy.
joint that Max and Jim had? That
Pin the tail.
Pin the Tail trying to. Y'all can search it wild, but they
Yeah,
had a
but
bunch of them, man.
Club songs,
Pin
songs
the
for
tail
women.
of the
You know what I mean? And like if Griselda could kind of just, step a little toe in that arena, just a little bit. Don't go overboard with it by any means, but I wish they would try to, dabble in that arena a little bit.
Okay. I like that take, Sin. I guess y'all kind of changed my answer. In one hand, I would say yeah, because as a collective, they've somehow, although there's been rumors of, Conway having issues, overall they've stayed together through the success, and they're putting out great album after album. After the success hit them in the face, they still are persevering. In fact, they're adding to, and then those artists are having more success. Stove, Rome, etc. Mock, all these guys, and Boldy, all these guys are having real success in their careers as Griselda affiliated artists, right? So from that perspective, I would say yes, because I felt like as Dipset grew, it kind of evaporated. Dipset 02, 03, 04 isn't Dipset 05, 06 after they added people. You know what I mean? And then the fallouts happened. Things got a little weird with Cam and Jimmy. Jewel's never lived up to expectations that he was living up to at a certain point.
Right.
Like I'm not trying to say that Benny is West Side's underling or his little nephew. But as far as like the guys who are the young face of the movement, to me, like Benny was in Jewel's position. And I feel like so far Benny has done a decent job of carrying that baton as that guy who could be a crossover star.
Absolutely.
Right? All these other guys who got signed with J.R. Ryder got signed. He was excited for J.R. Ryder. It never really materialized. Hell, Rella never materialized. Whereas you look at Rome, it materialized. Rome is on ESPN shit. You know what I'm saying? Who would have thought? Yeah, Rome did a lot of work. He put a lot of pain in, and he's on ESPN talking to Jalen and Jacoby. Stove God's one of the most anticipated releases of 2023. So from that perspective, yeah, I think that they are becoming what Dipset was supposed to be. But then Sin throwing that curveball in there about the appeal. Yeah, Sin has a point. And you know what? Some people are going to get mad at us. I'm sorry. But as much as Griselda has grown as a movement, and they are very much a viable brand, they're still not fully, how I want to say this, they're still to me a upper tier, boutique quality, niche brand. They're not nationwide just yet. And that's not a slight, it's just they're still building. West Side probably tell you himself, we're still building towards people giving us our respect, right? Dipset was a nationwide brand.
Yeah.
Right.
Dipset had women loving the dips. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like Sin was trying to name some of the songs, but they had like Get 'Em Daddy even. Just that little voice, Get 'Em Daddy, like that right there, chicks could sing along to that. Right. You know what I'm saying? The Hey Ma's, as he labeled, the Old Boys. Joel's had a couple of, even the joint with Chris Brown. Mike Check. What was the joint that he did? Back to the Crib with Chris Brown. You know what I mean? Jim Jones did his thing. He had the joint with Trey Songz, Summer in Miami. Like they always found a way to be some of the hardest rappers out, but still talk to the women and have that appeal. So as much as I came here to say yes, they are what Dipset was supposed to be, I gotta rein it back and say they're close, but somebody needs to talk to the women, or Armani Season needs to find a way to bring the women to the fore. Armani's a beautiful woman. She's super attractive. Got
that
some
tape was
records.
dope too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the tape was fire. Honestly, I keep going back to Benny, because to me, Benny You know what it is too? I think like it's a believability thing. Like, would you believe like could you really listen to West Side talking to the chicks? I don't hear it. I think Rome can. I know Stove can, but
Stove could do it for
but
sure.
I got all stock in I think Benny could do it. But it has to be in the right
Benny
parameters.
could make a club
he can't make a
joint.
Lover Man
Benny,
song.
yeah.
But even if it's just a chick singing the hook, bro.
Yeah.
Where's that at? Nobody got a record with a girl just on the hook. Even Hove did Can't Knock the Hustle with Mary.
Right.
Talking some street shit. Ain't nothing like an R&B hook to get you right.
Unreasonable.
What happened? Sin, what happened to the fucking rap songs with the R&B hooks?
Like you owe me.
It died with R&B, bro.
Here you go. So you can't trust this guy.
Wow, bro. That's crazy, bro.
All right, so let's move on here. Next question. So, you know, in the midst of that B died and what's his name again? B died and Elliot Wilson. You know I'm really bad with names. I'm sorry. Sometimes I remember niggas' names, sometimes I forget niggas' names. He mentioned, you know, he said something that Griselda was the best, and you know, I don't know if he threw shade at TDE and the rest of the crews, but he tried to make amends. Punch, I don't know if Punch is a very fickle guy, so I don't know if you accept that. He made amends on Twitter, but I feel like Punch and West gotta have a conversation, or we need an Absol Benny feature, and then we can truly make amends. But forget all of that. The question I have for y'all is, of all the true collectives in rap right now, I feel like 3 crews right now are the creme de la creme of the crews.
Okay.
We have TDE. Even without Kendrick, the collective is still very strong.
True.
Kendrick made them unfair.
Kendrick made them a cheat
Kendrick was KD. You know what I'm saying? With
Kendrick
the Warriors.
made him a cheat code. Kendrick makes this question kind of
Irrelevant. Dreamville, another strong crew out there, or Griselda. Who is the best crew of those 3? Sincere.
All right, I'm gonna make my points here. Like we said, Kendrick on TDE would make them a cheat code. Would make it KD on the Warriors.
See, we like Kendrick. We just like to bother Sim.
Yeah,
but
man,
Kendrick's not there no more. He left.
Okay.
Right? Now, the notable acts left are Schoolboy Q.
Shout out, my guy.
Absol and SZA.
Hey, SZA. I seen that post.
J-Rock got a whole lot L, I guess.
J-Rock.
You right. I fucked up. J-Rock. But J-Rock is completely MIA.
He's like Batman. He just shows up. You know what I mean?
SZA's an R&B artist, so you know this is a rap discussion.
You're not putting Punch in that? He rap.
Shouts to Punch. He raps. He can rap. But what's
left? We gotta put that on the shirt. Word to mother, bro.
Yo,
he can rap.
That's dead ass.
He can rap.
But what's left is Schoolboy Q, and at shouts to Absol. Absol is in there. His album was phenomenal.
Right.
J-Rock's nowhere to be found. Schoolboy Q is kind of MIA too. He just dropped that Lucy earlier this year, Soccer Dad, which was fire, but it was one song all year.
Song, bro.
After
he did a collab with Freddie though. Gang Signs, fire.
Facts.
That wasn't from last year?
Yeah, 2022.
2021, I mean. Are you sure? Somebody check the videotape.
Early.
It's either one song or 2 songs.
I'm gonna look it up. As you continue, I'll look it up.
And so I feel like TDE with Kendrick, you know, leaving to free agency. Schoolboy Q out with a ACL. I don't know.
Sin.
J-Rock.
Wow.
J-Rock
Sin
just
sounded like the other episode.
J-Rock just sitting on the bench, not really giving no explanations as to why he's not playing. He's just like, I don't really feel like
Kawhi Leonard time?
Yeah. So to me, I feel like TDE is out of this conversation, honestly.
Damn, bro.
And then Dreamville, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I like J. Cole. Beyond that, I liked JID once upon a time. I don't know. He don't really do it for me right now.
Dislike.
That's just a personal opinion, y'all.
Sin, who's the best,
saying
bro?
He's whack.
Who's the
All right,
best
hold
crew,
on.
bro?
I don't really care for boss and all that. So
when I said it though,
listen, it's gotta be Griselda.
Wow.
For me, it's Griselda. I mean, look, you got Westside Gunn on his curator shit, and look, there's certain people will tell you, and even he himself will tell you, West Side Gun's not a rapper. He's not that nice. I enjoy listening to West Side Gun on these fucking raps, on these beats, bro. Like he's got that one flow that he goes for, but he does it well. You know what I mean? And so he's got his little pocket that he works in. Conway and Benny are the OGs that are, still in the mix, but not necessarily under the wing. And then up next, you got Rome and Stove God and Boldy. Like, that's a crazy squad.
You saying it's unfair?
I'm saying it's not fair. Griselda got this. Griselda got this, bro.
It's cool when Sin say it. It's a power when I say it.
This is where I get my Griselda card back. Because the previous segment, I was like, Griselda can kind of, expand a little bit. But in terms of just like raw skill, raw quality, Griselda got it, bro.
I'm gonna pass it to Mase.
At the end of the day, like, Dreamville, y'all know how I feel about Dreamville. I'm not beating the allegations, bro. The problem is this, that Dreamville has this singular top star of all three collectives right now. J. Cole is the top guy by far to me in the game right now out of all three of these groups. So we have to give Dreamville something. People love the Gangsta Grills joint they dropped, the compilations they've dropped over the years. Niggas really fuck with Dreamville, regardless of my personal feelings.
Listen, we got downvoted because we didn't say JID's album was a classic.
And that's the second in command. You know what I mean? So Dreamville, they have to get mentioned. They're not my particular taste. I'm not the guy that's going to be fighting for Dreamville, but
I think
y'all know. But much respect to them because they are loved in hip hop and they are very critically acclaimed. Now, TDE, the issue is that, like Sin said, they're either inactive or the hottest artist is no longer on the label and an R&B artist. So at that point, we only have Schoolboy and Ab Soul. And even though we loved Ab Soul, I don't know if his impact alone was enough to overtake the shit that Griselda has done in these past couple years. At this point, the talent is almost overwhelming for Griselda. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost, I forgot who I compared him to last time. I think I might have called him like an underground death row, but it's like, to even get y'all out of that era, you know what I mean? You remember like when Rawkus had all the hottest underground niggas? That's Griselda. They have all the hot underground niggas. You know what I'm saying? If there's a top 7 underground, they all Griselda artists. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the domination that they're carrying in their field, if you want to call Dreamville and TDE more mainstream, I don't think they're dominating the mainstream the way Griselda's dominating their lane. You know what I mean? So I have to say this is and I just was riding with him over the Dipset. I might get struck by lightning for that. But I gotta go with Griselda in this question. You know what I mean? Without a doubt.
Now that's ill because Mase, he'll tell you firsthand, like, Griselda's not his bag. You know what I mean? Right. So for him to say that, as much as sometimes I can't trust this guy in his taste, like he's keeping it real when it comes to Griselda. Now, this is a tricky question because to me, Dreamville, they have the trump card that is J. Cole, to Mase's point. Then they have JID. I think the two biggest artists of all three collectives that we're doing this thing is JID and Cole.
Right.
They tip the scales for the rest of that crew. And I wouldn't say that anybody on Dreamville is wrong. There's some strong artists over there. But then I could say the same thing for TDE. When all are active, to me, like, if you're a rapper, you gotta forget Kendrick, he's gone. You got a hard time dealing with Ab-Soul, J-Rock, and Schoolboy.
Facts.
Before you get to the newcomers that's coming up, because I know Punch, he dropped a project last year with some of the guys that he's bringing up, these newer names that we're not super familiar with, but they pretty dope too because TDE has a standard for artists. You can't be whack. Right. You can't even be average on TDE. The rule is you got to be nice.
Right.
But of the heavyweights, when active, those three, tough. Because they've proven it as solo acts. And it's like, when they do the songs together, it's like, can you really definitively say Kendrick had the best verse on all the collabs? You really can't say that. And they're dexterous. They don't just deliver bars. They make good music. But Mase made another strong point. As far as a lineup goes today, 2023. I wouldn't disrespect Benny and Conway and Westside and call them underground. I don't think they're mainstream, but I coined the phrase. If you hear anybody else say it, you heard it here first. Overground. Whereas they're not mainstream, but they're too big to be considered underground. To me, Westside, Benny, and Conway are overground artists who are dope at what they do. But all the other guys, to me, they're still semi-underground on their way to being overground. And on the East Coast, to me, Rome is in number one, by far, number one underground act. If you go to the Midwest, Boldy James, number one underground act. Stove God, you could even argue on the East Side, he's it's almost like, to me, Rome and Stove are a coin flip. It's a matter of preference on the East Coast. Like, do you like super barred up Rome streets? Or do you like the picture, the portrait painting of a Stove God?
It's like a Jada Kiss, Pusha T type of situation.
Then you have Mock Hami. Jay Worthy. So if you're telling me like, crazy. I know the answer is obvious. Yes, it's Griselda. Right now. A lot of, because if J-Rock decides 2023 I want to get active, how Ab Soul got active and then Schoolboy decides to get active, I'm gonna have to change my answer.
Schoolboy.
But right now, if let's say rap beef battles, whatever, is anybody out rapping Griselda? Right now?
Money on Griselda.
Cole, there's only so much Cole and JID can do against a Griselda.
Right.
You're not getting through Benny, Conway, and Rome.
It's not a versus.
And if somehow you get through those three, Mock is waiting for you. Boldy's waiting for you. Stove is waiting for you. Griselda got the strongest team. And the thing is, when they get together, they don't have to sacrifice what they do. They all deliver. All right, we doing a 6-man collab. Who got the best verse? Who gonna deliver? Whose pen is gonna work the best here? Right now, I'm willing to change. Listen, if Schoolboy and J-Rock get active, I'm changing my answer. Because to me, Schoolboy, J-Rock, and Ab-Soul together,
that's a
difficult.
What was Redemption? 2018?
Yeah.
Going on 5 years with J-Rock.
That's a tough three. That's a real tough three.
That's a tough three.
But I still think they might get outbarred by Griselda. They might get outbarred, bro.
If we talking bar for bar, they gonna need Kendrick to come back.
Kendrick gonna have to put the PG Lang flag down.
Because they got that. It's like that OG3 lineup, and then you add Rome Streets
for Griselda today. Sorry, Sid.
I can't believe Crash Talk was 2019.
Yeah, bro.
4 years
He ain't dropped since the world ended, bro.
Crazy.
Let's move on to our next topic before, we get into that space where Walter has to kick us out.
Give us a side eye.
Yeah. Walter has a lady. He has to, deal with her and give her rightful attention. Shout out to Walter. Sin had a hell of a topic. He says, when did you realize there was a mainstream and an underground? Sin, since you're the person who threw this in the chat.
Yeah.
And it got me to thinking, I'm gonna tell you right now, as of right now, I'm still trying to figure that out. As far as I have a general answer, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, break it down for us, bro.
So, it kind of goes along with everything that we talk about here at the Rap Roundtable, especially the last couple of topics that we've tackled here on this episode. I got to thinking about this like a couple days ago because I was listening to some Black Moon, specifically the remixes, right? If you remember, I Got Your Open remix and then the Buck 'Em Down remix, right? And those were remixes that Black Moon had created to have a little bit more of a radio commercial appeal, right? Because they were considered like, the underground backpacker. If there was such a term back then, the underground backpacker, Brooklyn, Dirty Tim's crew. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is that, like, I'm listening to this, to these songs, and I'm like, back in 93, I never thought of things in those terms, right? It was like Black Moon was dope, Wu-Tang was dope, Gangstar was dope, But also, Tupac was dope. Biggie was dope. Snoop was dope. Death Row, Dr. J was dope. It, like, to me, it was just like, it's hip hop. You know what I mean? I didn't think of it in terms of like, what's mainstream, what's underground, what's getting more attention, what's getting less attention. You know what I mean? And it was an era when it felt like everything played. You know what I mean? You could turn on Hot 97 and it could be Dr. Dre and Let Me Ride or G Thing, or it could be Black Moon with, how many MCs.
It was hip hop, as you said.
Right. And so, but then I started thinking about like the conversations that people have now, where it's like sometimes when he talk about Biggie, because some people are they'll be upset that he, that he worked with Puff.
Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
And so, and what some people will say is that if it were not for Puff, Biggie would be in that same Black Moon lane.
Huh.
And so it gets me to thinking like, well, so I guess at the time, Black Moon was considered underground, and then Biggie was considered more mainstream, right? Or he broke into the mainstream. But again, I didn't think of things in those terms. But fast forward to around like 97, right? This is the first time when it really clicked for me that, not everybody's in the same lane, right? So Wu-Tang came out, and Wu-Tang, from 93, 97 were dominating shit. Mm-hmm. But then they came out with Wu-Tang Forever. They doubled this. Some people, I love the album, but some people call it a bit of a disappointment. And then Puffy came out the same year with No Way Out. And the Puffy album just was out of here.
That shit went crazy.
Shout out to Big.
Now, shout out to Wu-Tang, because they still managed to do like double platinum,
they did
I
what
think,
they did.
Right? But No Way Out went like 8 times plus. You know what I mean? So it was crazy. Like now that you're seeing the separation, and of course the issues that Wu-Tang had with Hot 97 did not help the situation, right? And so that year's when I first started seeing like, oh shit, there's like a real rift in in these lanes. But it wasn't until like 98, because 98 was when No Limit broke through. And then after that, 99, Cash Money broke through. And then, again, y'all gonna call us East Coast bias. But I'm listening to No Limit and I'm like, bro, none of these motherfuckers can rap, bro. Like none of these, bro.
No Limit, but Cash Money was fire.
You like Cash Money?
I love me some Cash Money.
Fine.
Shouts to Job, YMCMB Job.
No, Cash Money, CMB.
No YM.
No YM. CMB.
So, all right, Cash Money aside, though, that was the next year. But No Limit took over the radio waves, and I'm like, none of these motherfuckers can rap.
Did they? I don't remember No Limit getting that much run.
Yo, No Limit in '98. It ain't my fault.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All of that,
the remix with fucking Mystical was controlling Hot 97.
Oh my God, Silk the Shocker.
Yo,
come on,
you're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
And so '98 was that year, because then that's when, shouts to Mase, the Raucous era broke through. Right? Well, not broke through to the mainstream, but I'm just saying, like they appeared on the scene, right? And so you have like the Lyricist Lounge and Sound Bombing projects. You have Black Star, and then a year or two later you have Kweli and Mos Def separate albums. You have Pharoah Monch. The Roots also were thriving in that era, and once I saw that and I saw that lane, I was like, this is where I want to be. But I noticed that none of these artists, aside from like maybe the Roots, You Got Me in '99, none of these artists were getting any radio play, right? It was all No Limit, Cash Money, Bad Boy, Rough Riders. And so that's when I was like, oh, okay, there's definitely two completely different lanes here. 1998, a great year in hip hop, but definitely when I realized that, like, oh shit, like not everything is on the same level, not everything's in the same lane.
And so that's interesting to hear, Sin, because that's actually where I come into play. Because 99 is where I started kind of listening to rap really seriously. You know, I remember my father had bought Black on Both Sides and a Slim Shady LP the same day. You know what I mean? So, and at that point, there was a clear distinction between, like you mentioned, the Black Stars, the you know, the Pharaoh Monches, Shouts to Punchline and Wordsworth, you know, Lyricist Lounge Days, the Master Aces, you know. It was like, it was a clear distinction between them and the J's and the Eminems and the Dr. Dre's and even the Nellies, and, you know, because the Ja Rules, there was a clear distinction between mainstream hip-hop and underground hip-hop as I came to maturity as a listener, you know what I mean? So for me, there never was, you know, it always was, you know, these guys are trying to make the hits. These guys are getting the Timberland beats, the Swiss beats, you know what I mean? The Dr. Dre, the Scott Storches, and these guys are the lyricists, you know what I'm saying? You know, one of the, you know, I remember being blown away and like, in my freshman year of high school when Hove, you know, pulled back, you know, the curtain and said, I wish I could rhyme like Talib Kweli, you know what I'm saying? It was like a thing, you know, it was like, it was validation to what we had already heard, you know what I mean? So for me, I never, there always was kind of like that chasm between, okay, because even when I kind of got into it, you know, hip hop, you know, when I really started getting into my LimeWire and fucking up the computer at the house, you know what I mean? And learning about the Tech Nines and the you know, these dudes who like were like straight underground cats, you know what I mean? Like that you didn't even know about, you know, you felt validated by even knowing these guys, you know, compared to your friends that only knew what was in the Source and Double XL. Right. You know what I mean? So for me, there never was a difference. From my earliest listening to hip hop, it was clear what, you know, because even back then they used to just call it, this is real hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And this is, you know, the fake shit. So that's how I was basically introduced to the genre, period, with that gap between those two. Yeah.
You know, I love this topic idea, and it got me to thinking because I never thought of it that way until Sin broached the question. Then I had to really go back in time and really think about the way I looked at shit. So like, to me, Wu-Tang kind of blurred that line at first. I love me some Wu. For all intents and purposes, Wu-Tang was an underground group. The sonics, the music, the content, they were underground, but before viral was a word, they went viral, right? You know what I mean? And then we fast forward, like, let's say 3 or 4 years, post Biggie passing away, the official Shiny Suit era. That's when I was like, all right, there's a clear divide. Like, because I remember having, like, being that I had young parents, some of the conversations they would have about rap wasn't like, take that noise off. They was fully entrenched in hip hop. My pops gave me the Lords of the Underground cassette tape. You know what I mean? So it's like, they would talk about Bad Boy in a way where they couldn't get with it because it was too glossy, it was too commercial. So it's like, now I'm starting to get a better understanding of what Bad Boy is doing is not indicative of what hip hop is. I like it. Yeah. Like even today, I'm watching MTV Classic, and they played the "Been Around the World" video, and I'm like, Puff and Mase had great chemistry on camera together.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And I loved it. But I remember in that time, getting next to Puff Daddy, like, put it this way: 2022, Sincere the Rap Snob gets a record deal. If Jav is the biggest exec in the world, everybody now wants Sincere to get with Jav so that Sincere can secure the bag and make a way. But back in 97, if Sincere the Rap Star was the hottest rap act in the world and he signs with Jav, he's a sellout by default.
Yeah.
Bad Boy was considered selling out.
Crazy.
Doing business with the white man, not representing the culture. Still, at that point, 97, I'm 13 years old. I still don't have a grasp of underground, right? But I know that something isn't right here because I remember watching Flavor videos and what the videos look like and what Mobb Deep looked like and what Wu looked like, what Leaders looked like, what Boot Camp Click looked like, and then watching these cinematic videos of Bad Boy. There's clearly a divide here. right? Even the West Coast videos are very raw. The Cube videos, West Side Connection, Easy Eats. There's something different about Bad Boy, but I can't put my finger on it. But then my OGs are talking, and I'm like, yeah, we like the songs, but this ain't that. Even Hove, they didn't even like Hove like that.
Right.
I was a Jay-Z fan in the room as a kid with my OGs. It wasn't until Kanye came out, 04, I'm 20 now, that I started to really understand what I already knew. Like, they labeled it backpack rap. But I heard it, like, you know, the Qualies of the world. Even as I grew up and I started to fall in love with Jay-Z, even all those boot camp clicks, Deshaun Price's, there was a divide sonically, everything. That's 04 is when I fully understood that this is what underground is. Raucous Records, all of these guys. I'm like, oh, that's what you mean by underground. Because I grew up with this shit, so I never divided it that way of mainstream and underground. It was like, all of these niggas are nice, but some guys make commercial rap. I always looked at it as commercial rap and non-commercial rap. So it wasn't until 04 that I looked at it, it was, oh, that's what they mean by underground. Guys who are not making glossy records, they rapping their ass off, and it's not the shit that I used to love as a kid. They're not dancing, there's no hoes. You know what I'm saying? 04, 05 was when I fully understood what they meant, because I never knew what underground was. It was just rap to me. You know what I'm saying? 04 was like, I bet. So this Hov is doing this, but then this is Mos Def guy over here who's super dope, but he's not doing anything what Hov is doing. He's not getting the placements. He's not on the radio. He's not getting no Timberland beats. But this shit sound raw as fuck. I love it.
Right. Because at the end of the day, in 03, Get Rich or Die Trying changed my life. But then in 04, Mad Villainy changed my life. So it's like, you gotta be able to flip both sides.
Because I literally grew up with commercial rap, the business. That I couldn't really understand what underground was, because I literally, my infancy of loving rap grew up with the business of rap. You know what I'm saying? So like, I didn't know till 04. I was like, oh, okay, this is underground. And Kanye fucked the game up, because The College Dropout is an underground album.
He bridged the gap.
And that's when I knew that there was a divide. And then when Hov started dropping those nuggets about rhyming like Common Sense and the quality shit, then I would go back and be like, oh, okay, he wants to rap more, but he has to sell records. Got it. So that's 04 is where I identified with that shit. You know what I mean? I don't know if Sid want to add any more to that, or we can move on.
I just want to like clarify something, because like I know some people are probably gonna take what I said and take it as like, oh, so as soon as like the South broke through, like that's when you realize. No. It's no limit. Let it be clear. I did not like any artist on No Limit. None of them.
Not even Pete?
There's like one Masterpiece song that I like.
All right, fine.
About it. That should go.
And you love the Dipset version better. But and
but
again,
as far as the South, you know, Ghetto Boys,
Scarface,
Outkast,
Dre 3000,
all of that, like
Certified.
Luda, T.I., like, you know, don't make it into a East versus South.
And I'd like to say I was a
waiting for
Cash
Lil
Money
Wayne.
fan from day one. When High dropped, back that ass up, especially when Bling Bling dropped. I always say this shit, and I want to say it on wax because I have a podcast now. White t-shirt culture in New York came from Cash Money.
Oh,
we didn't start rocking white tees in New York until them Cash Money niggas was doing it.
Yo,
that is a fact.
That's real.
Big for Job.
That is a fact.
Yo.
That's real.
But I always loved Cash
like,
Money.
Yeah, because I was like 99, and then like 2000, 2001 is when it was running shit.
Number One Stunner is one of my favorite songs. The Block is Hot by Wayne, one of my favorite. I loved me some Cash Money. New York niggas, I always say this shit. We love, if it's good, we love it. If it's whack, like, where do you see we're gonna pan it. We're gonna pan it. Fuck out of here. Sorry.
No Wispy Sophie?
Disrespecting the culture with no whole training and manners, bro. Mase, you got anything for the Young Rap segment?
I do actually.
Okay.
I do. I got a little bit of something. Pause. So I coming to this episode, guys, I was doing my research. I was, getting my script together. I was, I'm always thinking about it, and you want to know what the Young Rap news is this week again, guys. NBA YoungBoy dropped another album.
Oh.
YSL is still on trial.
It looks like Thug is taking all the charges.
It is. Boston Richie snitched. You know, Big Scar passed, you know,
Rest in peace.
and I thought to myself, like, I know I'm the voice of the young people. I know, you know, of course, the young rap. I know everything that's going on. I follow everything that's going on. But I decided, guys, that in 2023, I think I want to go in another direction.
Talk to me.
Okay.
I've seen the reaction and how, you know, the viewers are fucking with the stream talk, the business talk. So in 2023, guys, I want to try to, you know, almost pull the curtain back behind the scenes, the business, the things that's going on in hip hop that y'all might not really be completely aware of, but that's essential to y'all. So I want to say, of course, I'm always going to be the voice of the young people. Of course, if Joey Bad drop another classic, if G Herbo come hard, I'm still going to let y'all know. But moving forward in 2023, we gonna give y'all business talk. We gonna give y'all behind the scenes talk. We gonna give y'all talk that y'all.
Are you retiring the young rap segment?
Young rap segment 2022 is retired.
What?
And in 2023,
Wow,
we
bro.
moving forward
That's
with
crazy,
the
bro.
behind the scenes talk, the business talk, the shit that y'all really need to know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I didn't want to just go in a new direction. I wanted to make sure y'all knew where we was going for moving forward. So in my mind, I'm thinking that I want to debut what is fake independent and what's real independent. But if y'all have some ideas about what y'all want to know, you know, y'all can throw it in the chat. But that's what we looking forward to going to for moving forward for the next episode. But RIP to Young Rap. For moving on 2023, we going in a different direction. I'm listening to y'all. I'm seeing the reactions. I'm seeing y'all want to hear it. Y'all need to hear it. So that's what we gonna go through in 2023, y'all. That's how we move. Y'all. I didn't even let the guys know. I just came out with that, y'all.
Yeah, shit, I'm surprised. Fuck.
I was like, did y'all two talk about
Hell
that?
no.
I wanted to surprise y'all,
crazy.
man. Yeah, man.
I like that. I like that.
But again,
a lot.
it goes back to what we always say about the shows. Even if y'all get at us, we are for the people.
Absolutely.
We are here because we love rap and we want to talk about rap and we want to give y'all the information y'all need. We don't want to operate like we're above y'all. We know more than y'all. We the most intellectual nigga about. Nah, we of y'all. And if we have the info, we want to give it to y'all.
Absolutely.
And when y'all give us info, we take it in and we use it on the show.
Facts.
Talk about it. All right.
So just real quick, I meant to mention this earlier, but in the chat, let us know if and when you realize that there was this dichotomy between mainstream and underground.
Talk about it.
I mean, let us know your stories.
The best answers will be featured on the next mailbag.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of the mailbag, my favorite segment, we got a few entries into the mailbag. So we have an actual email for a change from Maurice Hunt. Maurice, I got to you. I know you sent it a couple weeks ago, but we always respond to the people. He says, great conversation about that. He's talking about the whole lyricist thing that we covered on the last episode. I just wanted to chime in and say we need a new category called skill assist. That's interesting.
Okay.
What brought this thought was the Eminem conversation with the art of rhyming over the art of lyrics. So, Sin, based on your history with M, what do you think about the idea of skill assist and the art of rhyming over the art of lyrics?
The art of rhyming as opposed to the art of lyrics.
Yeah.
I guess meaning that
Table fable.
right, just like orange door hinge, even if it doesn't make sense within the scheme of the song,
right?
As opposed to like having lyrics that are actually like cohesive. I mean, if I think back, I probably have been into an artist or two that are in that sort of skill assist category. I guess, you know, like we've called it like lyrical miracle rappers that just rhyme for the sake of rhyming. It's cool. Like, I don't, you know, I'm not entirely against it, but it can't be your only bat. Right. It can't be, you can't be a one trick pony where that's your only trick. Right. At some point, to be a great MC, a great lyricist, a great, you know, artist, you know, you got to give me some cohesive themes, some cohesive stories, something, you know, about something personal maybe, even if it's a song for the women, right? But it has that theme. You know what I mean? You got to be able to do that. Like one of my best examples is DMX, because we don't necessarily think of DMX as, a lyrical, smirical lyricist, right? Or skillicist or whatever. But the scope of things that he talked about and covered in his songs, with like the passion that he had and his delivery and like his song structure
and the charisma
and like,
you're right,
you know what I mean? And I think of How Is It Going Down to this day. Like, you don't look at DMX and see his image and be like, oh, this guy's gonna make like one of the best songs about relationships, of all time. But he did that. Okay. You know what I mean? So like, you gotta have a skill set. You know what I mean?
All right, next entry we have Harvey Chapman. He says, first time tapping in. I'm really fucking with this platform. A few nasty takes, but at least y'all defend them with some sense. And you know what? This might be my favorite entry to the mailbag of all time, because that's literally the show. Right. There's gonna be some nasty takes, but we're gonna defend them with sense. We're gonna articulate our opinions, and we're gonna give it to you because we're not experts. Again, we don't think that we know more than the next man. We're just fans of the culture, and we give y'all what we think about the culture. Right. And when I saw Harvey's comment, I'm like, he gets it. A lot of times people don't get this show right away. They think that because we have microphones and a table, we just experts. Nah, bro, we just some bros, right? With some takes. Some bros. You know what I mean?
Takes and some mics.
That's it. It's some fire beats from Sin. Okay, yes, and you really can't take our take seriously after the second cup, because if the shit goes left, yeah, and it's like Harvey said this shit. I'm like, thank you, because you get the show.
Shout out to Harvey, man.
Shout out to Harvey.
Real shit.
Mase, the next entry comes to you.
What's happening?
From Goodspeed, a regular viewer to the Rap Roundtable.
Shout out to Goodspeed, man.
He says, great commentary about Dre and Quick. The other podcast, according to hip hop, hey, listen, we didn't say he did. Hates Dre so much, they were so quick to eat this up and use it to deride Dre's craftsmanship. Nobody will ever be Dre, machine behind him or not. What do you say to that comment?
And so, without the the random shots at somebody else in the podcast sphere, you know what I mean? I gotta say, shout to Goodspeed. I gotta say, I agree. To me, it's always hard. It's always easy to grab at the person at the top. You know what I mean? Pause. But it's always easy to say, this guy, Lenny Cook could be LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like, T-Mac could have been Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of, it's people act like it's easy to be the one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not, so of course, if coulda, wouldas, that could apply to anybody, but who did it? Right. It's Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? So the respect has to be given, because no matter of what could have happened, the story that was written was that Dr. Dre became who he was. So it's like, shouts to Goodspeed. But yeah, man, that's how I feel about that one.
Shout out. Next entry into the mailbag. Of course, bro. Kelvin Gainey. Sincere, this is for you.
Okay.
When it comes down to good hip-hop, rap music, Nas' AZ Cormega album is better than half the people out there, but some of them do not get the recognition that they deserve. Them three, too many people can I mess with. That's how he wrote it. Them, a lot of people try to hate on a lot of good MCs and get rappers because they go out of popularity, album sales, screens. I guess he meant streams. But real MCs like Benny the Butcher, Conway, Dave East, Pusha T get looked over for a lot of bullshit. Freddie Gibbs, Joey Badass. They have really good rap albums just because they're not on the radio where a lot of bullshit is played. So he's saying that real rap gets overshadowed by the bullshit, long story short. So what do you say to that comment?
Yeah, I mean, that's
common.
Yeah, that's a story as old as sliced bread. Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that. What I will push back on is saying that Cormega and AZ's album is as good as Nas's. There's levels to this shit.
Nonsense.
But yeah, I mean, like the conversation we just had about how I fell in love with, like, you know, the raucous era and underground MCs, because they were doing shit that was not getting the shine on the radio. You know, so I agree with that.
Kind of falls in line.
Yeah.
All right, and this last one, I think we're all gonna have at this one. Yayi 4G says the Hard Part 5 ain't a better song than Johnny P's catalog. Mase, what do you say to that?
Yes, it is. Hard Part 5 is better than Johnny P's, and I spoke about Johnny P's 2 flawless verses. J. Cole maybe the best verse of his career, you know what I mean? And that's, you know, a great career. I'm not hating like I usually do. You know, but the Hard Part 5, man, like, it made you laugh, it made you cry. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is rap music at the absolute highest level in the modern era. Like, so no shots at Johnny P's Caddy, more conventional sound, so I can see why people will fuck with it. But Hard Part 5, man, come on, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Yayi 4G, but we at the Rap Roundtable, at least Jav and Mase, disagree.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, the Hard Part 5, like, I know I argue with Sin often, but I really felt how I felt when he dropped that record, especially that second verse that I still replay at least 3 times every time I hear that song. He elevated. That's the Shogun rap shit. Bar work, flow work, breathing, pocket work. Everything that you expect a great rapper to be great at, he displayed on that. Then we get to the third verse, and it's like he's embodying legends who have passed away and speaking through them as a vessel. Amazing creativity. Man. Yeah. And beyond all of that, like, I know what Johnny P's Cadillac represented in the song, but it's like the Hard Part 5 had no misses. Like, I spent more time arguing about who had a better verse between Benny and J. Cole. That wasn't the conversation on the Hard Part 5.
Right.
It was 3 fire verses where each verse, the creative, maybe not the bars, but the creative levels increased with each verse. It's almost like he said, I'm going to give you a couple jabs on the first verse. Then I'm going to give you the haymaker on the second verse. And then the referee didn't stop the fight. Let me give you a couple of flurries so the referee could do this and stop the fight on the third verse. Incredible. And on top of everything else for Jav, the fact that there was 3 verses in the 2-verse era, hell no.
Yeah.
Johnny P's not fucking with the Hard Part 5. But because it's a Kendrick topic, Sincere got to close it out.
It's the Hard Part 5.
Okay.
Period.
Keeping it real simple.
Period. Period.
So, all right, with that said, you know, we've kicked a few people off the lawn. I don't even know if there's anybody left. But we're uptown.
It's been quite a few.
It's been quite a few. We're uptown. We're having a blast. We tried to knock on Deanie's door, but he's not feeling well. He said he can't come outside tonight because he needs...
outside, Deanie.
Come outside,
on,
bro. Just put a mask on.
You, bro.
You don't have to vid, but put a mask on. We need you outside with us. We got some vagrants here, and we can use a 6'3", 6'5". I don't even know anymore.
You the sinner. That's all I know.
You are the enforcer of the Rap Roundtable, and we need you here because we got some vagrants who won't leave, and we need them too.
Get off my lawn.
Yes, sir. This episode, the ones that need to get off my lawn, and shouts to Jar for this term. You coined it. I'm gonna use it now again from last episode. The marginalizers of success.
Worst type of niggas.
Y'all need to get off my lawn. And this is, again, if I'm kicking you off my lawn, it's because I've seen one too many examples of this. But somebody's got to be the example in the spotlight. And so I seen this tweet, right? Now, shouts to Tony the Dome. I'm not kicking Tony the Dome by any means.
Shouts to Tony.
Roundtable supporter.
Yes,
off the lawn. But, you know what I mean? Like the Dr. Dre, and shouts to Mase because he was just speaking on it. The Dr. Dre subject is still kind of circulating out there on the social medias and on Twitter, right? And, you know, along with what we said here at the Rap Roundtable in the last episode, right? What DJ Quick said about Dr. Dre was a little out of line, a little out of pocket, right? Dr. Dre has the resume, right? And so Tony the Dome was just like, he sent a tweet out that was just like, you know, sort of agreeing with that sentiment, right? That Dr. Dre clearly has an unfuckwittable resume.
Easily.
Right? And so this person quote tweets him. I won't put him on blast, but his statement was, in terms of Dr. Dre, DJ Muggs is still better than him.
What?
Madlib is still better than him. So is DJ Quick, better than Dr. Dre, right? But then it's the net. It's the net. Like,
fuck are you talking
opinions
about?
are opinions. Preferences are preferences. If you like DJ Muggs or Madlib better than Dr. Dre,
I'm judging him.
that's
DJ
your
Muggs.
preference. If you're into their music more than Dre's music. But here's where I really took an issue with his statement. He said Dre was lucky to produce for commercially successful artists.
Get rid of this guy.
And we need to stop doing this out there. Like I'm looking straight into the camera because there's a lot of y'all that do this out there.
Sin don't look at the camera
Like,
often.
Beyond Dre, y'all do this about, 50 Cent, y'all do this about, Jay-Z, y'all do this about like a lot of artists out there that were commercially successful, right? You cannot just chalk it up to luck. You can't do that, right? There's a skill set there, right? There's work that went into the position that they got to, right? And then especially in this particular discussion, to say that Dr. Dre was lucky enough to work with commercially successful artists when it was Dr. Dre who made so many artists commercially successful. You have it ass backwards, sir. Who was Snoop Dogg before 1992? Before G-Thing, before Deep Cover?
Before the G-Funk era.
Who was he? Who was Eminem before 99? Just a dude battling in Detroit. You know what I mean? On 8 Mile.
Real talk.
You know what I mean? Who was, 50 Cent. 50 Cent was on the come up, but Dr. Dre saw the talent and said, yo, you know what? I'm gonna make you the star that you need to be. Dr. Dre made stars. It was not the other way around. Please stop this narrative that people that are in the places that they are. Now, to be clear, right, there are definitely some people that take advantage of certain advantages that they have, maybe nepotism, maybe. Dr. Dre is not one of them. Don't do that to Dr. Dre. Mm-hmm. That man is a god tier producer, a fucking legend, an icon in the game. The music is elite. The labels that he worked with were elite. The artists that he worked with are elite. Stop doing that shit.
And?
Get the fuck off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Listen, the same people who front on Dr. Dre are the same people I would like to tell you that Phil Jackson wasn't a great coach. And all of y'all can.
Get off my lawn.
You guys sound stupid.
Talk about it.
You know what? In the 62 episodes of the Rap Roundtable, I don't think I've ever closed the show. So, first time in history, Deanie usually takes us home. I'm going to take us home. I've never taken us home.
Get his point going.
You know what I mean?
Home, John.
Yes, sir.
You know, shout out to everyone who supports the Rap Roundtable.
Yes, sir.
All the old subscribers, all the new subscribers, all the people who show us love in the comments and give us the vigor we need to continue on. And some people who saying, yo, we really love the show. Keep up the good work. We see y'all, believe it. We try to like every comment that shows us love because we fuck with that, because your comments and your energy gives us the energy to keep chasing this shit and trying to level up the show even more. Shout out to Walter for allowing us to go overtime, because again, he has ladies to go see and we're holding him up.
Hey, lady.
I'm sorry.
One, not plural.
One lady.
Yo.
I tried to put a little gas there because Walter's a fly guy, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Walter tolerates our shit.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out to Josh who tolerates our shit. But at the end of the day, we're trying to put out a quality podcast for y'all to fuck with. And we appreciate that shit. Shout out to the Rap Snob. Shout out to the homie Mase. No longer the voice of the young people.
Hey, man.
But the person who's going to remove the veil and take you behind the scenes.
Yes,
Wizard of Oz shit.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Deanie the Balance. We missed you tonight. It's your boy Jav here, the point guard. You know, occasionally I shake the team. I get in trouble. But I love y'all nevertheless. It's the Rap Roundtable, episode 62, and we out of here. Yes, sir.
Sir, the heroes you need.